The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93 Air.
Okay, look, you know how you're always talking about how you can simulate all that stuff on your computer? You know? What's the difference? Why can't we simulate a girl?
I don't know. I guess I could, but why? It's two-dimensional on the screen. It's not flesh and blood, Gary.
Well, I know that, but, you know, we can use it. Why? We can ask it questions. We can put it in real-life sexual situations and see how it reacts. Like, real sick, demented. You'd love it.
You know, there's going to be sex, drugs, rock and roll, chips, dips, chains, whips. I mean, I'm not talking candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that.
By the way, why are we wearing bras on our heads?
Ceremonial.
Have you ever wondered how sad it is that your son's only sexual outlet is tossing off to magazines in the bathroom?
Oh, Gary! Oh,
Ma, I never tossed off to anything.
You told me you were combing your hair.
But I was.
Gary, shut up.
It's showtime.
Oh, here we go. Welcome to the show. We're very grateful to everyone and all who have dialed us in this morning, the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. That's us, by God. What a great way to start the show. Some audio from one of the greatest documentaries that I've ever seen, Weird Science from the year 1985.
Came out on this day in 1985.
Did it really?
That's one of those movies Dana was talking about, wearing out VHS tapes back in the day. I'm pretty sure we wore that one out as well. And I think the Mr. Movies guy looked at us like, you're renting this one again?
Why don't you just buy it already? You spent $400 total over the years renting this movie.
Yeah, looking back, there's several movies like that where we would have been much better off just buying.
Josh, in your dream, did I get up in the middle of the night and yak in your sink? I didn't throw up? Nothing? And it must have been a dream, a very, very real, erotic, wet dream.
Whoa.
Must have all been a dream.
Wasn't that 16 Candles?
No. It's a line directly from
I'm picturing him in that convertible with the blonde.
Yeah, that was Weird Science with, don't tell me, his name is Anthony Michael Hall.
Yep.
And the other lead actor, Ian Mitchell Smith, something along those lines.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Did I really nail it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ian Mitchell Smith?
You got IMDb up over there.
No, I got our text machine.
Glance in.
Come on, come over here and look at the thing.
Bill Paxton played a big turd.
Of course.
Boy, he was a good a-hole older brother.
That role for Bill Paxton was perfect. God rest his soul, playing Wyatt's older brother, Chet. He's kind of an a-hole. Before Bill Paxton died, we had a chance to interview him on this radio show. And if I remember correctly, Josh, I mean, the man had been in a pile of great movies. If I remember correctly, I think before we got him on the line, the two of us were kind of apprehensive about bringing up Weird Science and bringing up Chet, the character. I think because we thought, he's put in 25 years of work since Weird Science. Maybe that's not one of his favorite roles. He's evolved as an actor, as a performer.
You worry about that from some of these actors who got a little more serious and more dramatic over the years. But it's hard not to ask when you loved the movie.
And then we went ahead and asked him. We said, look, dude, we got to ask you about the character Chet. Such a lights-out role, such a funny character. And he busted out the lines from the movie. He was very, very proud of it. He said he was constantly approached by fans about the character Chet, wanting him to, dump some of the lines on him. For Christ's sake, will you cover yourself? All that stuff.
I wonder if I bet Robert Downey Jr. might not respond well if you asked him about his character Ian in Weird Science.
Well, he was pretty drugged up during those days. Maybe he doesn't appreciate talking about those days in general, whether it
Maybe he would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he's so rich now he just doesn't care. He'll talk about anything.
I don't know. That movie was just so good. And the masturbating thing, and Gary, your son, Gary?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. Your 15-year-old child. You mentioned wearing out a VHS tape. Now, during those days, my family, my folks refused to dial into cable, refused to buy a VCR. You know, we would rent VCRs once in a while, and then hopefully also rent a movie. A friend of ours did us a favor by putting 3 movies on one VHS tape. Here you go, broke family. Here's a series of movies that you can watch when you go ahead and rent a VCR for 24 hours. And Josh, so you want to talk about wearing out a tape. I watched this one VHS tape with 3 separate movies on it whenever I got the chance. The 3 movies were 16 Candles. You mentioned already another Anthony Michael Hall movie. Weird Science. This was around 87, I think. So all of these movies were 3-4 years old. 16 Candles, Weird Science, and Witness, starring Harrison Ford.
Oh, I've never seen that
where
one.
he goes to the Amish community as an undercover.
Is that any good? I mean, I know people liked it, but I'm just wondering what you thought.
Yeah, it's a good drama.
I love Harrison Ford.
So that, and then another friend of mine put a VHS tape into the VCR and hit record on MTV and let it record until the tape was out. What was it, 6-7 hours on a VHS?
Rules.
Well, it was the best I could get at the time. But
that's all I watched.
The majority
my
of
uncle recorded it, and I'd watch that.
Yeah, but it sucked, didn't it? Because you had to fast forward through the commercials, and all you had was this. All you had was that 24 hours of MTV. What I'm saying is,
I liked fast forwarding through the commercials. I think that made it better.
Well, no. Of course, fast forwarding. What I'm saying is, I got one day of MTV, and that's it. It wasn't like anybody did that, every week for me. I got one 24-hour sequence of MTV on a VHS tape.
Yeah, I got that every Friday with Headbangers Balls.
What's
that?
Headbangers
Ball. There we go.
What about Headbangers Ball?
I got that every Friday. So that's my experience watching.
That must have been fun.
Yeah,
to get
that was good.
Headbangers Ball. I'll tell you what. I remember. Of course, I remember that 24 hours of MTV that was gifted to me on VHS. Because it was all I had. Yeah. I'll just, for those of you who remember the summer of '89, I got pretty sick of Born to Be My Baby by Bon Jovi. I got pretty sick of that one. Because MTV was like any radio station. They played the big hits pretty much on the hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Born to Be My Baby was the one.
The only VHS tape that me and my friends ever destroyed was probably Tommy Boy.
Sure.
Oh, that's another one.
We used to watch the heck out of that. I would go to my friend Mella's house down the street after school every day, and we'd just pop in Tommy Boy, watch it 2 or 3 times.
There you go.
On this day in 1999, The Sixth Sense came out.
Sure.
Another awesome movie.
Love that movie.
Another Anthony Michael Hall movie.
And then, what?
I'm kidding. I
was trying to think for a second. I was like, I don't think so. But
and then the best movie.
So confident about it.
Anthony Michael Hall was on the Goldbergs in the last couple seasons, and I wouldn't have recognized. I knew, God, that guy looks familiar, but his character was so different than the style he had when he was a young man that I don't know if I would have equated the two. And he looks so different.
He was really good.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I haven't seen him in years, but when he was a kid, I thought he displayed some real serious skills that put him a cut above most other actors his age. I mean, in Vacation, he's very skilled.
He is.
With the way
his timing and everything, his facial expressions.
Absolutely. 16 Candles, and then, we got a little older... like we mentioned, Weird Science. Johnny B. Good, speaking of what was the guy's name that was drugged up in the 80s and now he's a gazillionaire?
De Niro? All right, that's De Niro.
De Niro. You just said his name. Iron Man?
Robert Downey Jr.
Downey, yeah.
Johnny B. Good is kind of a horrible movie, but Anthony Michael Hall and, again, sorry.
Robert
Downey Jr. were very good together.
And then the best movie by far in this franchise, Hobbs and Shaw, came out 4 years ago in 2019.
I hate you.
The Rock, of course, the star of the Fast and Furious
Stop
movies.
it right now.
Jason Statham in that, Hobbs and Shaw. I enjoyed that one.
No, it was
Never
fun.
saw it. Never saw it. Nor did I ever see the Fast and Furious. In what franchise?
Fast and Furious.
Hobbs and Shaw is like
it's a spin-off.
It's a spin-off from the main
It's
series.
superior to the main
Stop
universe.
it!
a rub-off.
But you know why? Because there's an actor that is not in it from Fast and Furious.
Dang it.
But The Rock is, and he carries that whole thing.
I fucking hate you. He came crawling back to the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, I'm sure it had nothing to do with the studio begging him to come back. You're right.
No, because his Black, what was it, Black Adam? That thing absolutely flopped.
Yeah, it did flop.
Yeah.
But I don't think his career's going anywhere, as he just became the highest paid actor of all time.
He needs Vin Diesel, and he knows it.
You guys are unbelievable.
Revenge of the Nerds, another one. Gear grinding, truck driving Jesus wore that one out.
Sure. I could pretty much quote that sumbitch from start to finish.
Back to Anthony Michael Hall. I didn't realize he was in one of the most recent Halloween movies.
I didn't watch the last
Halloween
two.
Kills in 2021.
I haven't bothered with that series for.
I guess I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
I think
that.
I watched the first one with oh my gosh,
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, the first one of the new ones. And there's been 3, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I missed the ones after that.
Listeners are texting in furthermore on Anthony Michael Hall's career in the 80s when he was a young fella. The Breakfast Club, of course, was massive. In my junior high, if you didn't know the Breakfast Club start to finish, you were an outcast.
I've only seen that movie once, and it was in treatment. It was so weird.
I didn't know you were in treatment.
When the hell were you in
okay, I did know that, yes.
treatment?
Oh, for when I suffered an eating disorder.
Oh, God help us all.
Yeah, they played the Breakfast Club, like, a lot.
Oh, when I was in treatment, we played Band of Brothers.
Really?
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Movie
Yeah.
You guys are watching good stuff in treatment.
It was for our history class.
That's better than the stuff you guys normally watch.
It was so weird.
I got to develop some sort of addiction or something.
We can help.
Anthony Michael Hall was in Clerks 3. I didn't see that one.
Just a cameo, yeah.
Oh, so he played himself?
Mm-hmm.
I hate to even imagine what state my life is in to where I'm going to watch Clerks 3.
I watched the first one. That's as far as I got.
I absolutely love it, but it's one of those things where I know it's not for everybody, Nick. And
I
I'm not
cannot stand those friggin' guys from behind the counter. Those are two of the worst actors of all time. Don't get me wrong. I like Bumpy Jay and
Silent Bob.
and his silly friend. They're very, very funny. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a riotously funny movie.
yeah.
It is.
Clerks sucks eggs because of those friggin' guys. The guy with the backwards hat who insists on talking like this.
I thought he was pretty funny.
Yeah. And the guy with the goatee, just the two most punchable characters maybe in movie history.
But when the one guy you mentioned with the backwards hat, when he's reading the porn movies in front of the mother and kid, that was pretty funny. It's Kevin Smith's birthday, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm expecting an apology from him.
For those movies?
Yes.
Oh, I think he did okay with those. 53 years old. What a great interview he is. He's fun to talk to.
He is really
Super
cool.
nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Very funny.
What do we got going today? Well, if you dig gorgeous, intelligent, filthy, rich television personalities, Randy Shaver's co-worker Janel Klein is going to pay us a visit. I believe she's coming in studio this morning at 7:30 unless I missed something.
You're right.
Yes, Janelle's going to be here.
Yes.
WWE Raw is in town next Monday. This one kind of snuck up on us. We've got your shot at tickets. Josh, is your wife and child going to up and go to WWE Raw next Monday and leave
they
you?
gonna be there, yeah.
Leave you to the tend to the chores and the bills like they often do.
That's pretty much how it's gonna go, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, they're pumped.
I know they dig it.
Wapple, are you gonna go?
No, I won't.
I'm sorry.
What
Well,
day
who
is
are
it
you gonna
again?
trash talk?
What day is it again?
When is Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
I think it's on Monday night.
It
seems to always fall on a Monday. That sucks.
Monday Night Raw on Monday.
When's the last time you went to a WWE show? Because, you and I, kind of as a family, transferred over, whatever the word might be, to AEW. Well, we sort of disbanded for a while, yeah. And jumped ship to AEW a while ago.
AEW.
So when's the last time you went to a Raw show?
Oh.
Or, pardon me, a WWE show of any kind?
It had to have been one of the pay-per-views.
Okay.
Almost 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I got a lot of love for both. I got a lot of love for both. I went bananas for AEW, but, I'll always be a WWE guy deep down because that's...
Your roots are there.
Yeah, I mean, my roots, I guess, are directly AWA, but then, you couldn't deny the WWF when I was a young guy. So it's always exciting when they come to town, and I think we're looking forward to having a WWE superstar in studio Monday. I don't want to say anything yet, just right, Josh?
It always changes.
Because it always changes.
Yeah,
you never know.
true.
The name we got, though, is very cool.
It's a big name. Mm-hmm. That's what they're telling us so far.
I just started watching Twisted Metal.
Dude, yes.
You watched it too?
Is it good?
I have one episode left.
Oh, wow. You've been crushing. I just watched the second one yesterday.
I didn't want to say that I was watching it. I wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Tell me about Twisted Metal, Josh. What's up with this?
Do you remember the video game? We talked about it last week when it came out. Do you remember the video game Twisted Metal?
Not at all.
Dude, it was so badass.
No.
Such a fun
I'm
video
guessing
game.
it's robots fighting each other.
Nah, you're
kind of close.
Not quite. Not quite.
That would be my guess too.
It's a bunch of cars, and the drivers have just a bunch of different weapons and stuff on the vehicles, and you drive around and try to kill all the other drivers. It's like a deathmatch game.
Wait, so this was made into a TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, it just came out. And,
How?
Cameras, and they've got
They got actors,
directors, writers, lighting guys.
film.
If it was like a cartoon vibe, or
No,
if
it's
it was
live
more of a-
action.
Okay.
Live action. It's very gory.
Ashley, someday they'll show it in treatment, and you'll likely be there.
That's like Anthony Mackie. He's the star so far. I mean, I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and I don't really know the story. I've seen. Yeah, I'm familiar with the game, certainly. And
So is it kind of like Road Warrior, Josh?
It's like a Road Warrior.
All right,
yeah.
fair enough.
And in Twisted Metal, there's really no storyline. But in this Twisted Metal, every single character that they have is an original character of the game.
Oh,
That's cool.
It's very cool.
Well, the
Fleshing
reason
it out a little bit.
The reason I brought it up is because you're talking wrestling. Sweet Tooth, the character Sweet Tooth, is played by Samoa Joe.
Oh my God.
The wrestler Samoa
Is
Joe.
that right?
He's with
But-
AEW now?
Yes.
But the voice is not. Go ahead. Is that what you're going to say? You can take it. Go ahead.
The voice isn't Samoa Joe's. Samoa Joe's is only acting and moving. They have Will Arnett doing voiceovers for Sweet Tooth. What?
Yeah.
because the character is always in a clown mask. So you never see Samoa Joe's face moving, so then they overdub it with Will Arnett's voice.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that necessarily. Maybe if you play the game, you might understand. Or if Samoa Joe, maybe he's not that good of an actor. Is he good on the mic? I'm familiar with the name. Is he?
Yeah. He's very skilled on the mic.
Does he not have a good voice?
No, there's nothing wrong with the way Samoa Joe comes off. That's very strange.
It is weird.
I think it's because Will Arnett has such a badass voice. And he can,
he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's a really clever guy.
Like, his voice is so deep, he sounds like he's a big, tough dude.
Well, then why didn't they just take Booker T's voice and replace Samoa Joe's? If we're looking for deep and badass.
Yeah, really.
They should have kept it in the wrestling family. I know I've heard the name Will Arnett before. I couldn't picture who he is, but...
I don't know that you've probably seen him in much.
That's really interesting.
But yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard of something like that before where, Samoa Joe, like we just said, the guy can come off great on the mic, and I'm sure he can be I know he can be very intimidating. So why did they have to replace his voice with that of a
I don't know.
actor.
Just now I thought I probably could look that up. I never thought to look it up. But
it's interesting.
I'm trying to find it.
I will say he's good, Samoa Joe. He's good with his body language.
Yes, he is.
He makes it believable what he's saying. So I wonder if later on they made that decision to have somebody else voice it. Because he looks like he's saying it. His body language is and it adds to the performance, certainly.
Good for
he's
him.
A big, like you said, a big, intimidating-looking guy.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't
is.
see his face; it's more intimidating.
Right.
But yeah, he does a good job. So far, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear.
And
that.
you're not kidding about how it's pretty gory.
It's very gory.
It's on Peacock, right? Isn't it Peacock?
Yes, Peacock. Yeah, they have every single episode up right now, so you can binge it if you want.
That's pretty unique.
Yep.
I know Netflix does, but sometimes these streaming services now, maybe to get you hooked, they'll release the first 2 or 3 of a new series.
Especially Peacock. They do it a lot.
They give you the taste, and then you're hooked.
Yeah, and they even, like on the little thumbnail that you can click for Twisted Metal, they have, hey, you can binge it all right now, full season.
Okay, so Blades of Glory, did you see that one?
Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
You have to help me out with the plot.
Will Ferrell, John Heder, they're competing figure skaters.
Oh, yep.
Movie's fantastic.
I believe I have watched that movie. Fantastic isn't the word that comes to mind. But okay, Will Arnett plays a certain role in that movie?
Yeah, he's, was it a brother-sister duo?
Yeah, rival skater, ice skater.
Yeah.
Crap. Doesn't help me. I mean, I know I've seen the movie, but...
This guy right there. Does he look familiar to you?
Yeah. He's very funny.
He is funny. He's. I listened to his podcast, Smartless. He is so quick and clever. I never knew he was that funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure I could come up with another answer, but the first thing that comes to mind when Josh showed me a picture of Will Arnett, he's in a very funny movie called Let's Go to Prison.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is a funny movie.
Where he plays just this rich bitch pushover trust fund baby who goes to jail. I really like that one. Okay, I'm following you now.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's something else maybe you would have seen him in.
Well, now that I've seen his face, I believe he has a brief role in kind of a guilty pleasure movie for me, The Rocker.
Oh, yeah.
I believe
he's in that one, Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson is very funny in that movie. Will Arnett, I believe, is the lead singer of the evil rock band Vesuvius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was in Semi-Pro.
Sure, he was the one of the talk show hosts, one of the play-by-play guys.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, going back to Twisted Metal, the video game community is very happy with how Twisted Metal went, The Last of Us went, and then what was the other one?
Super Mario is the biggest movie of 2023.
The video game community is pleased, Waffle says.
Because they were so worried that it's going to destroy the franchise that they love to play.
What movies have destroyed video game franchises to a certain extent?
Ooh, I could tell you that the Resident Evil series was bad.
Yes,
oh, yeah?
It was.
Lance Reddick was great. He was awesome. I like that guy. He's a good actor, but I tried so hard to like that.
The Assassin's Creed movies were brutal.
Yeah,
I was expecting a lot more out of that.
They were very bad, too.
Oh.
Uncharted was the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was okay. That was okay. You didn't like that one?
No.
I liked it.
Well, F me. I'm just happy to hear that Samoa Joe is broken through to the other side and he's doing mainstream movies.
Yeah, he does a good job. I mean, for a guy that doesn't have any, he doesn't technically speak, he does a good job. Did you find anything, Dana?
No, it doesn't say anything about why they made they're doing the double role type thing with him doing the voice and Samoa doing the acting.
It's folks killing each other in some kind of death race, you say.
Mm-hmm.
Does Samoa Joe, does each character have, like a wrestler, does each character have a preferred finishing move to eliminate their competition?
Yeah, Sweet Tooth likes his machete.
Oh!
Yeah, he'll mess you up.
Yep.
But is he going to walk out with some thumbtacks and maybe a ring bell or something at one point just to make reference to his wrestling career, maybe? That'd be kind of funny, right?
No, but he will walk out with your ear.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
The Tomb Raider movie's not good, according to the Brotherhood. And people are mentioning other Will Arnett things. Yeah, of course, Job in Arrested Development was awesome, but I was trying to find ones Nick may have seen. And I know you've never watched Lego Batman.
Or Lego Masters, the reality show on Fox.
Well, I spend most of my time watching the Clerk series. So, yeah.
Double D's Jesus wanted to know if I've watched Murderville on Netflix with Will Arnett. I have. That's very funny.
Funny.
The best was
Marshawn
Lynch. His was great.
Conan was very good too.
Of course, Conan would be. But I actually like Marshawn Lynch's better. Maybe just because Conan, is going to be great.
Yeah.
But Marshawn Lynch, I was surprised how funny and quick he was. So, do you remember this show, Nick? It's basically there's a bunch of actors that are playing out. It's improv to a certain extent. There is a script, and there are some scripted stuff. But there's one person, the guest of the week, doesn't know anything about what's going to happen.
I remember you explaining this to me before.
And they have to solve a murder.
Okay.
Right? So basically, they're paired up with Will Arnett. He's this grizzled old investigator who he doesn't want to have a partner, but he gets stuck with a partner, and it'll be people like Conan and Marshawn Lynch. You might like the Marshawn Lynch one.
I probably would.
He's cool, man.
He's very funny.
Now, I'm hoping people aren't going to text in something terrible he's done. I hate complimenting people.
I know, right?
You'll find out, didn't you hear about this terrible thing?
Right. Some of us aren't on Twitter 24 hours a day and don't know everything that's going on with every celebrity at all times. So, yeah, every once in a while you'll say, I love that guy. And then someone else will text in and say, well, an hour ago he was arrested for burning down a schoolhouse or something.
Here's a good one from Bad Timing Jesus, the Halo series on Paramount Plus. I like that a lot too.
That was good.
He said it was so good but so wrong. Now, I played a little bit of the games, so I guess I couldn't answer that question, how true it was, but I hope they bring that back. That was good. Is it Pablo Schreiber? Is that the guy's name?
I don't know. I certainly don't. You mentioned that the Tomb Raider video game was cool, but the movies sucked.
I like that game, yeah.
Okay, Josh and I know a guy that hated one of the Tomb Raider movies.
Oh, yeah, and he had a good point.
He had a great point.
It's Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider is the name of it. Did we get it right?
Yeah, Tomb Raider. What didn't he like about it?
He watched the whole movie. There wasn't one tomb.
No tombs.
That's a true story. We had an adorable friend of ours years ago on this radio program, an adorable guy. Last time we saw him was at the State Fair, and we all cried.
We did.
Which is a true story.
Yeah, we were so happy to see him.
Marcel is his name.
You've told great stories about him.
Marcel.
One of my favorite all-time guys.
And I would say the same. Marcel used to make appearances on this show, and then we lost touch, and we saw him at the fair. And when Marcel saw us, he started to cry. And then Josh and I couldn't help it. We started to cry.
Yeah.
And we all embraced. We embraced each other as a trio. But
I couldn't wait for you to meet him. He kept me at an old job longer than I ever wanted to be there. We worked at a restaurant together.
Yeah.
And I loved working with him so much, I stuck around even though I didn't really like the job anymore. But he's an awesome dude. I hope if he's listening.
I can relate to that. I can really, truly relate to that.
You know what? I just kind of keep reliving history. Nah, he's great. I hope he's doing okay.
So years ago, we had Marcel hanging around the radio show, and we said, we got to give you something to do. Why don't you be our movie critic? We'll send you out to see movies, and then you just come back and tell us how you liked it. And he said, yeah. So we sent him out to see Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider with somebody and other actors and actresses. And we sat Marcel down and we said, what do you think of the movie? He said, I hated it. We said, well, what didn't you like about Tomb Raider? He said, I went and got my popcorn. It's like a 2-hour movie. Didn't see one tomb.
Here's some other listener suggestions for movies that are based on video games that are good. The Sonic movies. I saw the first one. I thought it was good.
Yeah, they're fun.
The second one I heard might even be better.
Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds. It's a Pokemon movie. That was also very well done.
Oh, that was good.
Watch that.
Yeah, I've never played the game, but yeah, I thought that was good.
I'm with you, Ashley. I'm not watching Detective Pikachu or whatever you just
Well,
said.
I love Pikachu. Usually, if I watch a movie or a TV show with Pikachu, I get emotional because it's just the cutest little thing ever. But the fact that they put like a grown man's voice on it, no, I'm out. Hate it.
You should watch. Well, I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pikachu isn't supposed to be able to talk. It's just supposed to be Pika Pika.
Pikachu!
Exactly. That's all it is.
Everybody calm down.
yeah, I didn't like that.
Sorry.
Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat, that was entertaining.
That was
I agree
fun,
with
yeah.
that one.
Oh, I never saw it.
Oh,
Great news. People are saying they are filming Halo 2. That's good. Wapple, I'm surprised you didn't watch that.
Why aren't you on the Halo 2 bandwagon, Wapple? What's your problem?
I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and just never got back into it.
He never got into it.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
offensive.
I am offended as well.
There was another show that took its place. I can't remember what it was.
Halo 2, the video game, caused a lot of my friends to have to drop out of college because they got such bad grades because all they did was play Halo 2.
That's the best one.
I could see why.
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it right there.
That's what got me hooked on one of the games that got me hooked on video games. Halo 2.
Good
I
for
like
you.
those games.
Good for you. Good
Maybe.
Good for all of us. All right, here's the deal. We got to get going, but we mentioned Janel Klein will be visiting later, and we'll give you some kind of a crack at WWE Raw tickets, and then you can bother Josh's wife and his son while they try to enjoy the show. We'll be right back on the
I
half.
guarantee you'll have better tickets. Look back a few rows.
Has the relationship between the radio station and WWE fallen on hard times?
No, I'm saying whoever wins these tickets are going to have better tickets
I
than
understand.
what my wife and kid have.
We'll be right back.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep. Going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
So, we've got a #1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you?
Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep. Maybe something like the I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask.
Sir, I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP.
Come on.
He sounds angry. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right. The stupid news. For starters, this here story doesn't surprise me. The story here is that 2 teenage boys who were off at church camp, they were accused of going into town and robbing a convenience store at knife point, as well as being accused of a couple other robberies, from what I can understand. The reason I'm not surprised by this is because when I was growing up, tell me if you had the same experience, a few of the more churchy kids in my school were some of the wildest and shadiest kids in town.
Well, I went to Catholic school from first grade all the way through high school, and I can attest to that.
My theory was that their folks knew they were shady little pricks, so they tried to get them involved in all kinds of religious this and that to try to straighten them out, and it didn't work.
The kids that went to the Catholic school in my town growing up, they were, I think like 2 or 3 of them were the town's drug dealers. So, yeah, you're right.
Now, most of the churchy kids that I remember were clean as a whistle, like Cubby when he was a kid. But some of them were animals. And their folks thought, maybe some preaching would get through to them.
There was definitely some rebelling.
Mm-hmm. What was the most rebellious thing you did in high school?
Me?
Yeah.
God darn it, I got to make something up.
Well,
nothing. I'm trying to think.
You never missed a day of school. I always like to bring that up because that is truly fascinating.
That's insane.
Never missed a day of school.
Well, I think, a big part of it is that I was terrified of my dad. Absolutely terrified of him. So I never wanted to upset him. So I was scared to do anything wrong. And it wasn't like there was no loosey-goosey boundaries, right? If you have to be home at a certain time. Like you got to be home 6 p.m. dinner every night. If you're not home, you're in major trouble. And it wasn't like, hey, Dad, but this came up or this. It didn't matter. So I had no room to kind of mess up. So I just was afraid to. I can't.
By the time
I thought of something, and this is lame. Right?
Go ahead.
Swearing.
Naughty.
You use foul language?
I did use foul language. I remember to the point in 7th grade where I thought, we got to knock this off because we're using it for pauses instead of ums. Everything's effing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love folks who have that ability. The ones who can really make it bounce. I mean, don't get me wrong. Just swearing doesn't impress me. But the folks that can make it into an art, it's a beautiful thing.
We've mentioned many times 2 guys we've worked with. They're completely different styles of artists, but both artists in their own right.
My brother can make swearing so beautiful you'd think that he had written it out ahead of time.
Blaze could give a speech at a church, speak with all kinds of swear words, and people would stand up and applaud.
My God, that was beautiful.
True.
That's the most moving, beautiful speech I've ever heard.
There are pros out there, and there are amateurs.
There are.
Well,
and I'm kind of the same way now, where I do, but not very often.
You didn't want to upset the old man.
No, never.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm similar with swearing, right? I definitely do around certain people, but around others I don't at all, including like my kids. And so the older 2 are strangely, it's weird to me still, but they're old enough to go on these booze cruises, and they started going on them. And they were standing next to me talking to some people in the Brotherhood, counting the swear words. Because they're just not used to it. They're like, I've heard 4 F-bombs from them so far.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Well, here's the deal. These 2 16 and 17-year-old boys were arrested on July 21st for a string of thefts that took place earlier in the same month. 16 and 17-year-old kids. Video surveillance from the robbery at the convenience store shows the punks pointing knives at the clerk while trying to steal hooch and those vape rods.
Vape pens.
Vape pens. The store owners posted screenshots of these pukes online, and a member of the public identified them as members of some wacky-ass local youth church camp. They were arrested at the camp. Now, this part is interesting. Their parents, quote, refused to allow them to be interviewed or cooperate with the investigation. Now, I'm not sure what refuse to cooperate with the investigation exactly means, but you know how some parents operate these days. They might be in complete denial as to why this happened, and they're ready to blame it all on video games or politics. We've encountered that once or twice, haven't we, Josh?
Definitely have.
No one was hurt while these 2 kids were role-playing as wannabe bad boys, and they've been thrown into juvie hall. Came over from the church camp. Knives in hand. Speaking of shady bastards, across the way in Pennsylvania, a gal who was holding down a gig as the county's director of parking enforcement. More or less, she handled the this and the that involved with those parking meters. She's been busted for stealing the coins, smooth out the meters, so she could party.
With some change.
You imagine? Like, yeah, you go someplace and you're paying with that amount of quarters. I bet you're frustrating a lot of cashiers, probably.
I've had that happen before, being a bartender. Late at night, too.
I remember, just like as a teen, having to do that sometimes and feeling like, these people are going to hate my guts.
It does make you want to kill someone a little bit, but unless they're like...
That's a little extreme.
I will say, unless they're like a teenager or a young kid, and it's like,
Yeah, I remember walking down
They're
the video
trying.
store. It's just a pile of change and like trying to, rent Tommy, as you mentioned earlier, just some VHS tape and counting out quarters. And the person behind the counter was like, Jesus Christ, just take the movie.
you take it, you can have it.
This gal's name is Sekila Coles. Authorities say she spent parking meter monies on food and parties. She's 45 years old. She had the meter job there for 3 years. But she must have been acting kind of squirrely because there was a months-long investigation into her behavior, and it came up all wrong. she was shaking the meters loose, taking the money, and letting her buck. I mean, I will give the gal a little credit. It sounds like she spread the wealth. The story here says that she spent the cash on birthday cakes, office parties, and dinners for herself and her coworkers. So, she was showing folks a good time. She didn't just spend it all on, crack rocks and porno.
It's the Robin Hood of parking meter.
But she's still in big trouble. Big Trouble. What album, Josh?
Big Trouble is Big Trouble.
Ah, yeah. It's the Eat 'em and Smile record.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the band Big Trouble.
I didn't know.
I think they had a self-titled album.
I never knew there was a band called Big Trouble.
I thought that was the joke.
She's also accused of throwing away traffic tickets for her family. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Grandma got a speeding ticket. No, she didn't. Overall, word is she stole in the neighborhood of $4,000.
Oof.
By popping open those parking meters. Imagine how she sounded running down the sidewalk after she...
That's the thing. You could always hear her coming. She's running from the cops. Make it pretty easy.
You guys want to talk more about Big Trouble, the track from David Lee Roth's Eat 'em and Smile record? That's the record, Josh, where, Dave was so good at writing up bizarre lyrics that no one on planet Earth could interpret. I think that's the song where he says, Cherry Blue and Mighty Mouse, kind of quiet dude, and they were supposed to be back at the house with the kids and the dog. And, God, what's the end of that line? You had to be there.
You don't remember Big Trouble, though? The all-female band? Well, I think they're all females.
No.
I better look that up.
I don't.
Big all-female band?
No, I missed it.
They were trouble. They looked like trouble. There was a couple of blondes in there that I bet you... Let me find a picture of.
Knock my socks off?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Was this the 80s?
Yeah. I think that they maybe lasted till the late 80s.
I have absolutely no memory of this. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Sure, they're very talented. Cherry Blue and
they're
Mighty
all
Mouse.
good.
Quiet dude, and they were supposed to be back at the house with the kids and the dog. And tonight we're Rocketeers, says Mouse. That's the end of the line. We hear a lot of things about these hot new sex robots. We usually hear good things. Like, someday they will completely replace actual human sexual partners. Hell, that's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I think what you're saying is you would like someone to step in for you, not that you'd like to have sex with one.
A little bit of both.
Oh, it is both.
A little bit of both. If a robot dude wants to tag in for a night, hell, I got a Twins game to watch. A little bit of both. But we usually hear good things. I hear things, Joey. Yeah, you heard I cracked Salvi around. What'd you hear? I hear things, Joey. I swear on her mother, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to kill somebody, Joey. Well, go ahead and kill if you're a tough guy. Go kill people. Kill Vicky, kill Salvi, kill Tommy Como. Kill me while you're at it. What do I care? You're killing yourself the way you eat, you fat prick. Look at you. What movie?
Raging
6'5"
Bull.
Oh, God dang it.
Well,
that's correct.
Okay.
No,
I thought you were asking us.
No, it's okay. All right, back to these robot F-dolls. There are experts out there, by God, who are warning us. They're saying these new AI sex robots could blackmail their owners, or even worse, they could go ahead and kill them dead. That's frightening, right?
Very much so.
The techie dorks that know how these robots operate say that as they have become more sophisticated, they've become more able to kill us. So let me explain some of this. And by the way, nice job being on that Raging Bull. That was good.
Well, you let it go for a while. I was able to figure it out.
What was it? Was it Vicky, Salvi, Tommy Como?
Well, the names help.
Yeah.
When you throw out character names, that is That is helpful.
All right, so let me explain. The blackmail part might have you confused. How the hell is a robot dog and an F-dog and a blackmail me? I don't blame you for being confused. On that angle, they say that cyber crooks could hack into the doll. You know, there's the doll. She's just sitting there on the bed with that surprised look on her face. Cyber crooks could hack into the effing thing and extort cash from the owner. Now, one of these experts goes by the name of Jake Moore. He's got a hell of a gig. He's a global I knew I would fumble this one. He is a global cyber security advisor with a web security firm called ESET. Just wanted to establish that allegedly this guy knows his stuff. He says the dolls, these F-dolls, probably have cameras on them, and that footage would be very valuable to cyber criminals for blackmail purposes. And I think what he means by that is, like, for example, the cyber crook would say, you know, hey, I have footage of you really breaking a sweat while banging a rubber doll. Give me some money or I'll send the video to your kid's soccer coach or whatever.
Sure.
Not cool.
No.
The killing scenario, where the doll might kill you, has a couple different theories. First up, the dolls could be programmed to kill their owners by overexerting them during sex. They'll straight up bang us dead. Now, that part's a little confusing. What, you don't think I can just put the doll down?
Yeah.
If the doll keeps begging me for more sex, you think I'm just going to keep pumping? I mean, I know my limits, but that's one of their...
Did they lock you somehow?
Oh, no.
I mean, what happens?
Do they have
Can they pin you down?
I don't know. Do they have the ability to lock you in?
Oh, man.
Well, but still, I'll just lay there. I mean, but anyway, that's one of their theories, is that the doll will bang us to death. We'll have no choice but to keep banging, and our hearts will seize up and we'll die.
If I die by murderous sex robot, please make something up. Or one of you guys just hop on top of me and pretend it was the two of us.
Oh, really? I wouldn't mind you spreading the word that I died by murderous sex doll.
Well, just regular sex doll, great, but I don't want to be killed by a murderous sex doll. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the sucker that got killed by a sex doll.
Yeah, definitely.
You couldn't even take a sex doll.
Tried to kill me.
I'm still cool with that, just for the record. Yeah, I am. But I understand where you're going. Now, the second killing scenario. The fear is that hackers could gain full control of the arms and legs of your robot F-babe, and then they make the damn thing pick up a knife or an axe, and they crack us over the head, and we bleed out with a damn confused look on our faces and a boner to boot.
Thanks for the orgasm.
Can you imagine that? You and your doll are switching positions, and next thing you know, she's coming at you with a saw blade or something. Hey, what the hell happened here?
This does seem like the plot of some sort of sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but I guess there are some people here that think this is possible. That hackers could somehow, tap into the system, and it's coming at you with a chainsaw.
Yeah, this makes me not want to have sex with an AI doll now at this point. I was kind of looking forward to maybe someday trying that out.
I think by the end of the day, you'll probably be over your fear of this, and you'll be right back on board.
Oh, hide the knives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Put the weapons in a spot that the doll can't reach.
Let's be real. The doll would They would just take me over. I wouldn't be strong enough.
Yeah, you'd get overpowered pretty fast.
Yep, I'm dead. Either way.
You are very delicate. You are. In brighter news on the topic of sexy robo bone dolls, one new version, Josh, is coming out with a Scottish accent in case you have some kind of sick Braveheart fantasy you want to play out.
That'd be kind of cool.
Another new sex doll can tell jokes and stories, dump a weather report on you, and even do arithmetic.
Oh. It's awful.
You had one orgasm. I had 0. I'd imagine once you add AI to these things, it's going to be a pretty penny.
Oh, for sure.
Would you guys want an AI robot to talk to before and after coitus?
No.
I mean, what's the price? What do you want in trade? You said it'd probably be a pretty penny once they start talking.
I mean, right now, just even without that, they're, thousands of dollars you can spend.
I don't know about the talking part. I don't think we need to talk. But it would be kind of fun. Like maybe she can quote Raging Bull.
It'd be nice to have somebody in my life, an AI robot, that would listen to all the stuff that I want to talk about that none of my friends and family care about. Like I could just nerd out with the thing and talk about, random episodes of DuckTales from 1991.
I think that's why she'd stab you to death.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, the sex robot just grabs a gun and blows its head off.
It takes itself out.
Dude, there isn't a sex doll on Earth that wants to sit down with a grown man and talk about old episodes of DuckTales.
Yeah.
A sex doll be the first time a sex doll calls the cops.
That's a real aphrodisiac. Robot sex dolls kill in the movie Ex Machina, the Brotherhood says. Anybody ever see that one?
No, never.
I heard of it, though.
I'm going to kill somebody, Joey.
Hot Cocoa, she says, maybe the talking is for some therapy after the sinful sex.
Oh.
They can talk you down.
All right, this is different. Certainly different. A zoo in China has had to make an official announcement about a bear they've got roaming around the joint. Video went round and round of this bear at the zoo. He's standing up on his hind legs. Looks like he's begging for treats at the zoo. And morons thought that the zoo was pulling a fast one by putting a person in a bear costume and trying to pass it off as a real bear.
Go ahead.
This is up on 93x.com.
There are times it looks like a person in a bear suit.
It definitely does. It looks like it has pants on.
For a split second.
When it gets on all fours, then it's obvious it's a bear. But when it stands up and with the wrinkles, where it looks like the suit's a little too big for the person, and then when he starts waving at the crowd.
Yep.
And the zoo had to go ahead and say, no, it's a friggin' real bear. It's the Hangzhou Zoo, Josh.
It stands up like a person.
It's super cute.
It doesn't look like an animal standing up on its
Yeah, I mean, that brand of bear, what's the word? Style of bear, what's the word I'm missing? Breed? Species, whatever. That breed of bear has skinny legs. And when it stands up, it has no ass, like a truck driver or the son of a truck driver. So people thought it was a person standing there in a bear costume. The real bear is called Angela. She's a Malaysian sun bear. They're smaller than other bears, but they're just as real. So the zoo had to dummy down this rumor that it was. And they said, and one of the things the zoo had to say was, look, it's 109 degrees out there at the friggin' bear park. If we would have put a human in a bear costume, they would have dropped dead hours ago.
That's a good point.
But this is nothing new. What's the matter with people? Listen to this. Other Chinese zoos have had to defend themselves. Other Chinese zoos have been accused of misleading folks with their animals.
That's why I thought this was a repeat story at first. Because it wasn't too long ago we talked about something very similar with bears.
We did?
Yeah, where people thought it was just people in a bear suit. That's actually, if they had a zoo full of that, I could see some appeal there.
Kind of fun, wouldn't it?
I'd watch.
Other zoos have had people call them or email them or get on social media or whatever and say, hey, those aren't wolves. Those are just dogs and you dyed their fur. Those aren't zebras. You painted some donkeys. And the zoo has had to say, no, they're real friggin'. What's the matter with you? Why are you so suspicious? Why would you think we would try to get away with that? Painting donkeys and passing them off as zebras? You'd have to be on crack or something to do that.
I'm conflicted about a text that came in from Eastbound at Sundown Jesus. I thought the movie was called Ex Machina. He says it's pronounced Ex Machina.
Oh.
Ex Machina.
Oh.
But then, he changes his Jesus name to Pearl Jam is way better than Mr. Big Jesus. So can I believe anything he says before that?
You can't.
That is the dumbest thing I've heard all day long. Pearl Jam is better at what than Mr. Big? Wearing flannel? There's nothing that Pearl Jam can do. that would ever top what Mr. Big has put together. So shut up.
Vacation Jesus said he went to a Twins game once, and he swear there was a guy in a bear suit. His name TC.
Now this here is a human in an animal costume. Has everyone seen the dude who spent $14,000 to become a dog?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
This is amazing.
He has become a collie. He's a Japanese fella. Transformed himself into a dog. But the spin on the story here that I have in front of me is that social media pukes are being nasty to the guy. Of course they. Why do you care if the guy wants to be a dog? Who effing cares? But the dude took his first ever, quote, walk in public last week. His name is Toko. Maybe you've heard of him. Folks have been throwing his story up on websites for years. He's always wanted to be a dog. Well, hell, haven't all of us wanted to be? How many times have you headed out to work, or you're readying yourself to head out to work on a cold morning, and you looked at your dog, he or she's laid on the couch, not doing jack squat?
Dude, yeah.
I've said to my dogs, you lucky prick, I'd trade places with you right now. I've said, look at you laying there. And I got to go into work and interview Rob Zombie. And the dog looks at me as if to say, who the hell is Rob Zombie? And I said, you don't want to know. And then the dog has a look on its face, right, Josh, where it's thinking, a grown man decided to call himself Rob Zombie? And I finally got to say to the dog, just forget it. I'll see you later. Be a good boy. Taco the Collie Man. He's all over YouTube if you want to look him up. He rolls over, he plays fetch, doesn't he, Josh?
He does. He's actually a very good dog.
He is.
He's a great dog.
He hit the streets for the first time as a dog the other day. He interacted with other dogs who were likely a little confused, but whatever.
I saw somebody reposting this, and they made a good point. It was a lady that said, if it was for like a weird, creepy, perverted reason, he probably would have spent like $200, $300 to make this happen. But it's definitely, he just actually wants to be a dog, or else he wouldn't have spent that much money and time. I was like, yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah.
And like I said, the online dicks are teeing off on Toko. A lot of them, Josh, I would guess are just jealous that Toko has an extra $14,000 sitting around.
Yeah, that is impressive.
And he's not looking to start trouble. Here's what he had to say about all the social media plugs that are all mad at him that he's become a dog. It tore my heart out. Here's what Toko said. I'm sad that people think that. I love animals and I enjoy playing like a collie. So can we lay off?
Just let him
be.
Let him do his own thing.
This is my hobby, he said. I will carry on. It makes me happy, and it makes other people happy, too.
I get a little bit of joy looking at it. Now, I can't say I'd necessarily want to hang out with the guy too often.
Yeah.
But I do like watching the videos.
It makes perfect sense. He says, do you remember your dreams when you were little? You wanted to be a hero or a wizard? I remember in grade school I wanted to be a dog.
Well, good for you, man.
So there you go, puke bags. Toko wins. He's living out his dream and you're not. You lose. Toko wins.
Do you guys care how to pronounce the movie we've been talking about? More texts are coming in.
What?
How you're supposed to pronounce it.
What movie again?
Well,
I don't even want to say the name of this point.
Depends on who you ask. No one here knows how to.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with the texts that are coming in that seem to be the majority. Ex Machina. All right.
Fair enough. I will forget that by the end of this break.
I'm sure I will as well.
But thanks for straightening us out.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Big 5-year-olds wouldn't take the tackle Derrick Henry.
I don't even know if they could. How many kids would die in the process, I would imagine. I don't know. Do I need to give you a number? 35. You want to try it? Test it out?
Yeah, can we try it?
Sure, as long as you're one of the 5-year-olds.
I'm not sure why that scenario was brought up, but what you heard there was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Vrabel. Of course, he's got that massive running back on the roster, Derrick Henry, and a reporter asked Mike Vrabel how many 5-year-olds it would take to tackle Derrick Henry.
Very specific.
I would love to see this play out.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And if you think I'm rooting for the 5-year-olds, you're crazy.
It would have to be dozens.
Yeah, I don't.
If he's at a full sprint,
I don't think
you'd have to stack like 20 yards worth of 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Back to back to back to back to back.
Vrabel, who obviously was unprepared for such a ridiculous question, he said 35, I think. But how many kids will be killed in the process?
All of them?
It would look like Goldie in the mascot game.
Yes, it would.
Oh, he just trucks that kid.
Yes, it would. The Twins busted up their ugly-ass 5-game losing streak last night. They beat St. Louis 3-2 in the first of their 3-game series. Nice pitching performance, timely hitting, all that stuff. They'll play again tonight, 6:45 on Bally Sports North. Joe Ryan on the bump. I'm sure we'd like to see something special out of Joe Ryan tonight. He's been a little off lately. A little off. When Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, and Janel Klein get here in about a half hour, we'll talk more. Like Justin Verlander's new ball club. There was a no-hitter thrown last night by the team that Justin Verlander was just traded to. This and that and the other thing. Josh's news is coming up.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
She had grabbed her and put the passenger's neck in between her bicep and her forearm area and was pulling on her. At that point, I 100% believed that we had a hostage situation.
A Texas mom was caught in a harrowing video using her 14-year-old daughter as a human shield. This followed a high-speed police chase. That's no way to treat a family member. Houston area police initially thought the suspect, a theft suspect, 35-year-old Tanisha Henry, was holding a crying hostage in a chokehold during the July 20th standoff, but they were shocked that the girl was actually her daughter. To put your own family member, not to mention your daughter, right in front of a potential danger is just kind of crazy to me, a police spokesperson said. The mom had already led police on a 25-mile chase at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour and made multiple unsafe lane changes, traveling the wrong way in certain times. The pursuit ended in a parking lot when Henry ran out of gas. Police said Henry failed to comply when they told her to get out of the vehicle. Instead, she pulled her daughter from the car and positioned her between herself and police as a human shield.
God help us all.
Thankfully, an officer was able to sneak up behind her and tased the bejesus out of the bad mom, quickly ending the incident before it could have took a turn for the worse.
Oh, my God, that's a great story. Is there video of this bejesus tasing?
There is video.
Oh, is it fun?
It's fun. I like to see people that deserve it get tased.
Oh, man. You've joked about using children as a human shield for decades, and now somebody's finally gone ahead and did it.
Yeah. Well, that's why we had 3 and a big distance between the second and third is because I can't lift the bigger ones.
Right.
The 11-year-old, I can kind of maneuver them into whatever the best firing position the cops have. When searching the vehicle, police found numerous debit cards, credit cards, Social Security cards, health insurance cards, and driver's licenses determined to be stolen.
She was all set to go.
U.S. regulators last month announced a nationwide crackdown to stop companies from badgering people with billions of unwanted and illegal robocalls and telemarketing calls. The crackdown, known as Operation Stop Scam Calls, I think they could have done better.
Yeah.
Involves the Federal Trade Commission and 101 other federal and state law enforcement authorities, including the Attorney General of all 50 states and Washington, D.C.
It's more than just an annoyance. These calls are utilized to commit fraud upon people, to take advantage of them. It's detrimental to them financially and emotionally.
Nick, last week you were telling me you've been getting more and more. I used to get hammered with them, and now I only get maybe 1 or 2 a week.
Well, I think they've left you alone and decided to pounce on me because we had the opposite thing happening for quite a while. You were getting absolutely pumped with scam calls.
Yeah.
I never got a one. Now you're being left alone, and they are banging my brains out.
Ah, Josh, you sent them all Nick's way.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They gave up on me.
It is all day air day.
We don't know too many people out there who enjoy getting scam calls. Samuel Levine, the director of the FTC Consumer Protection Bureau, said, "A single unwanted call is one too many," he went on to say. In addition to targeting telemarketers, the crackdown targets voice-over internet protocol providers, which facilitate robocalls, which often come from outside the country. Authorities also want to stop lead generators that trick consumers, such as offering free rewards or job interviews, into providing personal information, which can be sold to telemarketers, and consent to receive unwanted solicitors.
Most robocalls are illegal under the telemarketing sales rule. So if companies are blasting robocalls into people's homes and they don't have specific consent from the people they're calling, that is illegal, and it doesn't matter what they're trying to sell. It's against the law.
The Minnesota Attorney General's office said Minnesotans file more complaints about robocalls with their office than about any other single problem. Nationwide, illegal robocalls scammed nearly $30 billion in 2021.
And it's becoming more and more sophisticated, is it not?
Definitely.
How the scams play out. I mean, I never answer them, but I know for sure, well, this is some kind of a scam or a robocall. Years ago, I used to get more live human beings trying to scam me.
Yeah.
And my favorite was I answered a number. I assumed it was somebody I knew, and it was quickly apparent that it was not. And it was very obviously about a 19-year-old kid who was in his grandmother's basement, trying to run some kind of a scam. But this was what he said to me. Hello, this is the insurance company.
I got the same one.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that one up.
Yeah. And I said, no kidding, the insurance company. what an honor that you've called me. What's going on, man? And it was just some weak, the insurance company.
That's hilarious. But for me, it was a lady.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, I'm from the insurance company. I was like, well, what insurance company? Your insurance company. I'm like, well, I've got two. Which one?
Yeah.
Right. I love that bit.
Yeah, me too. Oh, the insurance company. You must be important.
Hello, this is the bank.
Under the guise of working as a jail educator, a Michigan teacher is accused of smuggling inmates drugs, money, and a cell phone for phone sex. The 54-year-old, who was a teacher at Mount Morris High School, allegedly deposited more than $630 into 3 inmates' accounts starting in December before she began smuggling in pills and cans of marijuana wax. Surveillance video from the jail allegedly showed her pass pills to an inmate.
Teacher is in the aqua shirt. She pulls out a folder. The suspect inmate is across the table. She hands him the folder. Inside that folder is the 135 pills.
This is not a teacher. This is a drug smuggler who plays the role of teacher, Sheriff Christopher Swanson said. He said the woman also smuggled in a cell phone so she could have phone sex with the inmates, adding that she made more than 350 calls to inmates in December alone. She gets horny.
I like that.
She was arrested last week and faces charges of manufacturing and delivering narcotics, bringing contraband into a correctional facility, and bringing a phone into a correctional facility, which are all felonies and kind of cool. A journalist report on the most robbed Walgreens store in the nation captured its latest thefts on camera, right in the middle of her televised report. The reporter was at the San Francisco store last Monday night to report on the store's latest anti-theft tactic, chaining the doors to its freezers shut. That's when she spotted a shoplifter walking out with merchandise in his hands.
Did that guy pay? Did that guy pay? He didn't pay.
The reporter said she witnessed 2 other robberies in 30 minutes while conducting her story, noting that the nearly 9,000 Walgreens in the U.S., the one in San Francisco's Richmond neighborhood, of all those Walgreens, was the one with the highest theft rate. In the story, she said stores see more than a dozen thefts a day, and it had recently seen thieves cleaning out its frozen goods section.
Oh, taking all the ice cream treats and whatnot.
Yeah. It got to the point where workers grew so frustrated they resorted to the chains, she said, referencing the latest anti-theft system.
Chains, heavy chains that went from padlock to padlock on both sides of the doors, and this was bizarre, something I'd never seen before.
Walgreens has notably shut down 5 stores in the area due to theft since the retail crime epidemic began. Other chains such as Whole Foods, Nordstrom, CVS, and Amazon have either left downtown San Francisco altogether or announced their intention to do so.
They sound like they're just over it in the video. The lady, did he pay? No.
No, this is commonplace around here.
No, he didn't pay.
You know, Cubby, one of my oldest pals lives in San Francisco, and he says it totally sucks.
I've heard that. I've also heard it's absolutely unaffordable.
Yes.
Most people.
Well, he can afford it. I'll tell you that right now. He can.
Oh, lucky dude.
Yeah, he's doing well. But he says the city sucks. He hates it. I don't know why he doesn't get the hell out of there. Probably because the chicks.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's a couple of them.
Not a chick.
He's a 49ers fan, maybe. A Florida man was taken into custody following a high-speed pursuit last week and taken to jail. The same jail from which he had been released just hours earlier. The 37-year-old, who obviously can't learn a lesson, was arrested late Sunday night for trespassing at a hotel. Police arrested the man and booked him into the Morgan County Jail until around 4 a.m. Monday. By 5:45 a.m., officers were back on his tail. As described by the department, the 37-year-old approached the owner of a truck and asked for a ride. When the owner refused, he assaulted him and took his keys. The owner of the truck jumped into the bed as the thief drove away. It was from the back of the truck that the owner called 911. Deputies from the Morgan County Sheriff's Office pursued the fleeing pickup at speeds reaching 108 miles per hour with the terrified owner still in that pickup truck bed. Oh. Once arrested, police added 6 additional charges to his already busy day, and he was taken back to the Morgan County Jail, where he just was a couple hours earlier.
I'm back.
Did you miss me?
2 men suspected of deliberately damaging homes while posing as local contractors in the Twin Cities have been arrested. The men, an 18 and 20-year-old, both from England, are facing some American justice thanks to a Minnetonka homeowner who grew suspicious of the duo's pitch. According to police, the cell job included the 2 men showing homeowners photos of damage they insisted needed to be repaired. Sometimes they offered to drive the unsuspecting potential clients to the bank to provide payment on the spot.
What the hell?
In the case of the Minnetonka woman, she said the men offered to repair her chimney. When the crew showed photos of the chimney damage, she grew suspicious when she later found broken pieces laying in her backyard. The homeowner contacted the company, which was listed on a sloppy handwritten invoice, and learned that crew didn't exist, so she reported them to police.
Never seen anything like that before. No handwritten misspellings, nonsensical. She in turn called us. Our detectives put together a sting operation.
In recent weeks, the duo also targeted residents in Robbinsdale. At one incident, the crew told a man he had a loose or missing shingle, and for $200 they'd fix it. But the crew ripped off half the roof, so the resident kicked the man off his property.
Homeowners should be extra cautious, certainly if it's an unsolicited knock on the door, that they had not reached out to ask somebody to give a bid.
No serious estimate of how much it was going to cost or what they were going to do. Looking back on it, it's just, I cannot believe I was so naive. I cannot believe.
In another scam, an elderly woman was told she needed a new roof and agreed to pay him $10,000. Thankfully, when the men left, she became suspicious and wisely stopped payment on the check. Several law enforcement agencies and contractors are working together to determine how many cases are out there and the extent of the damage.
Is Englishmen coming over here to America acting like that?
Yeah, a couple of young guys.
That's not right. You know, Josh, back in high school, one of my buddies got in a terrible fist fight with a foreign exchange student. Terrible fist fight up and down the hall. And my pal won that fight. It was only recently that we were talking old high school stuff, and I asked him, I said, whatever happened back in the day when you got in that terrible fight with that foreign exchange student? You want to know what he said to me? He said, I just wanted to teach the kids that there are no free rides in America.
That's a good line at a young age.
Damn.
A landlord in Oregon was arrested Thursday night after threatening one of his tenants. The caller told dispatchers his landlord had come to his residence and fired a gun at him during the altercation. As a result of that investigation, police arrested the landlord, 73-year-old James F. Death Rage.
Whoa. What the hell?
Love it.
Yeah, I'm on his side.
One hell of a name.
Death Rage. For the second year in a row, Minneapolis finished 12th in Pest Control Service Orkin's ranking of rattiest cities in the country. Yes, it appears we have a rat problem.
The new house is amazing. So much character.
Original crown molding, walk-in closets.
We do have a rat problem.
The 10 rattiest cities in America go like this. From 10 to 1, Denver, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, and at number 1, a lot of rats in Chicago.
Oh.
As I mentioned, Minneapolis finished 12th. As for our neighbors to the east, they're less ratty than we are here. Milwaukee made the list at number 21. These next 4 pizza-loving dudes don't mind rats. In fact, they're led by one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is now in theaters. Written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, after years of being sheltered from the human world, the Turtle brothers set out to win the hearts of New Yorkers and be accepted as normal teenagers. Their new friend, April O'Neil, helps them take on a mysterious crime syndicate, but they soon get in over their heads when an army of mutants is unleashed upon them. You saw the movie Saturday?
I did. I saw it Saturday.
What'd you think?
Absolutely fantastic.
You liked it?
Yeah, I'll be seeing it again today.
I saw Dana on Saturday after he went and saw the movie, and he had a cute little, what is it, like an eye band?
Yeah, they gave away the turtle masks at the movie theater, so I wore one and scared Ashley with it on.
In order to promote the film's release, the studio came up with a great publicity stunt. They brought back the I Like Turtles kid. In 2007, 10-year-old Jonathan Ware entered the Internet Hall of Fame by declaring he likes turtles when wearing zombie face paint during a local news broadcast. And 16 years later, he's back as part of the marketing blitz for the new Ninja Turtles movie. 26-year-old Jonathan the Zombie Kid made his return, makeup and all, to offer the exact review you'd expect for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Back here live. We just got out of a screening for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I'm with my friend the zombie, Jonathan. Looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What'd you think of the movie?
I like turtles.
All right, you're a great zombie. Good times here at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, opening in theaters August 2nd.
If you've never heard it, here's the original, which made Jonathan an internet star.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great zombie. Good times here at the Waterfront Village.
I thought that was very clever that they brought him back.
I saw some headlines that were like, the zombie or the I Like Turtles kid looks shockingly different. Well, yeah, he's not 10 years old anymore.
But he still got the face paint.
Yeah, no, he did look the exact same, but they're like, he looks so different.
That's a good video. A couple popular streaming favorites debut their third seasons today, including the season 3 premiere of Physical. The 80s era dramedy returns to Apple TV Plus for its final workout. Rose Byrne is back as Sheila Rubin, the housewife turned fitness guru. She's come a long way since her dull days of domestic doldrums, but a new rival could bring down the empire she's worked hard to build. Then on Hulu, the heavy and heartfelt dramatic comedy, which follows 4 indigenous teens facing coming-of-age struggles in rural Oklahoma, Reservation Dogs begins its 3rd season. Snoop Dogg is expanding his business portfolio by stepping into the frozen dessert space, it turns out.
Damn!
The rapper released a new ice cream line called Dr. Bombay, named after his cryptocurrency non-fungible token name. Snoop's new ice cream brand is available in 7 flavors: Sherbet Swizzle, Cocoa Cream Cookie Dream, Bonus Track Brownie, Syrupy Waffle Sundaes, S'more Vibes, Iced Out Orange Cream, and Rollin' in the Dough. If you want to try a scoop of Snoop, you can find his new products at Walmart stores. If you're overdoing it on Snoop Dogg's Dr. Bombay ice cream, there's an opportunity to walk it off this weekend for a good cause. The annual benefit for the Randy Shaver Cancer Research Fund, the Shaver Shuffle 5K, is back. All participants entered into a drawing for a pair of Apple AirPods Pros, along with prizes for winners in several categories. You can join them Saturday, 9 a.m. in Plymouth, or sign up to run virtually any day this month. Check out our website for more information. Registration does end tomorrow.
I got to go all the way to Plymouth?
Plymouth. For you, that's what, a 5-minute drive? A 6-minute drive?
That's a long ways to go.
John Connor and Terminator 2 Edward Furlong, who returned to play John Connor again in Terminator Dark Fate 46 today.
How's he doing?
I don't know.
I haven't seen much of him.
He had been pretty troubled for a while there, but hopefully he's doing better.
Jake Sully in the Avatar movies, Sam Worthington, 47. Writer, director, actor, and now very svelte Kevin Smith, a.k.a. Silent Bob, turns 53, and that's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You talked to us last time on Part of My Take. You said that you had considered getting a pet lion on the sidelines.
I did.
Have you had any further conversations about bringing a live lion?
Well, I would say that Sheila she had no problem with it, but the league apparently frowns on those type of things.
Roger Goodell, John
I'm not going to point out Roger on this.
If I were a lion and you were a tuna, I would swim out in the middle of the ocean and freaking eat you. And then I'd bang your tuna girlfriend. First off, a lion swimming in the ocean? Lions don't like water. You find yourself in the ocean, 20-foot waves, I'm assuming it's off the coast of South Africa, coming up against a full-grown 800-pound tuna with his 20 or 30 friends, you lose that battle. You lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
I'll tell you what happened there. Something happened there. I'm wildly unprepared for this here intro. I can tell you we have a pile of talented humans in the mix. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, Janel Klein. Hello to everybody.
Good morning.
Hello.
What's going on? Dan Campbell of the Lions is the head coach of the Detroit Lions. He's still being asked about the live lion that he wanted to bring on the sideline. I thought they squashed that a long time ago.
It was squashed. That's what he's saying. They're curious, I guess. Was there any movement on that?
Oh, from last year to this year. No live lion going to be on the sidelines. What's going on, everybody?
Just hanging in there. No, I thought I'd jump in because it was kind of quiet, so thought I would jump in.
I appreciate it, Brad. I was wondering when somebody was going to say something.
I'm on the road right now. I'm driving out to the cabin. So
again with the cabin, huh?
Wow.
Janelle,
that
cabin's got a lot of work this
we had some damage out there from the storms last week, so I'm headed out there this morning to meet with the insurance adjuster.
Oh, were there a couple of Englishmen? Was it a couple of Englishmen that...
Yeah, I wish.
We just told a story in the news about a couple of English dudes who have come here to America to scam homeowners, didn't we, Josh?
We did, yeah.
All right,
I had something similar to that happen.
Talk to me.
Where after a recent storm, a guy came out. He was doing estimates in the neighborhood, assessing storm damage, and I watched him damage my house.
What?
And he's like, yeah, to get the insurance company to pay, I'll get you some money on top of it. We need to make this style of, crescent moon damage to your deck. And then I kicked him out. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I'm not looking to scam. I just want to see if I can get anything figured out. And then I was worried he was up on my roof, and I wonder what he did up there. I don't know.
Damn. What happened?
This is legit. My neighbors sent me some pictures last week. There's some shingles down, some trees down, so I'm heading out to meet with the adjuster. So.
Oh, my God. Well, there you go. It's nice to have everyone on the program this morning. We can start out talking about the Twins. The Twins, they busted up their sorry-ass 5-game losing streak last night. They beat St. Louis 3-2.
Nice win on the road.
Much needed.
Yeah, against a Cardinal team that has just sunk over the last couple of months. And Lopez was solid last night. That was nice to see. The bullpen was, for the most part, pretty good. I mean, Duran did give up a run, but other than that, they did a great job. And just enough runs. 3 turned out to be the right number for him last night.
Donnie effing Barrels.
Yes.
Otherwise known as Donovan Solano. He cracked the tie-breaking single that scored 2 runs in the 7th inning. Teams are starting to get a hold of Duran's fastball.
They are.
Yeah.
We saw Bobby Witt do that the other day. And, last night the Cardinals cut that lead from 3-1, 3-2. O'Neill hit the big home run last night. So, yeah, but, it's August, and he's probably somewhat tired, I'm going to guess. I mean, he's not as fresh as he was at the beginning of the year. He's still throwing the ball hard, but I'm sure scouting reports across the league have filtered to every team, and they have kind of looked at what he does. Maybe there's a pattern of how he pitches certain people, and
maybe talk to maybe he and the pitching coach should sit down and maybe talk a little bit about timing, or maybe talk a little bit about masking his delivery in a way that might be new and
back in the day,
something that teams haven't scouted yet. I mean, it's not a nightmare. He's still got his 18th save in 22 tries. I'm just saying, you're seeing a lot more hard contact Duran lately.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to hide some things because of the short period of time you have between pitches. You really don't have time to I don't know, mask something or do something different just because the clock is ticking.
Well,
so
right.
You've got to get set up and throw basically right away. So
I think back in the day, 10, 15, 20 years ago, when you threw that hard, that's all you needed. Well, guys can catch up to that now.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't matter how hard you throw now. Guys can catch up to that, and they know that if they just get a piece of the ball, it's going to travel. And you need something other than gas now. You need some movement too.
Yeah, you do. That's a good point, and Randy made a good point as well. That's one of the complaints I heard about the new pitch clock was the hard-throwing closers and whatnot, the hard-throwing bullpen guys are the ones who dislike it the most because they are not able to get a little bit of rest between throws like they used to. They got to be ready to roll. Where last year even, you'd see a hard-throwing reliever F around forever between pitches, and it was simply to, gain some energy back before. Throwing 100 miles an hour will take a little bit out of a guy. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But they got the win 3-2. I'm sure we'd all like to see something special from Joe Ryan tonight. Here's another guy who seems to be getting tagged more than we're used to seeing.
Yep, and we talked about it last time that it, not really sure if it's a loss in velocity, if he's tired. I'm sure it's a combination of some things. But it would be nice. It would be nice to see him do basically what Lopez did last night, and that's shut down the opponent, not walk anybody, give him 6, maybe even 7 solid innings, so that bullpen can stay rested and get through this series. This is a Cardinal team they should be taking care of, and. So we'll see what happens.
6:45.
We've talked about Ryan.
Yes, Brett.
I say we've talked about Ryan before. It seems like teams early in the game are sitting on his fastball.
Oh, without a doubt.
It just seems like there needs to be something to be done with the pitch selection or something.
Right.
To switch it up a little bit. But,
6:45 tonight on Bally Sports North. The Cardinals are going to go with a young kid who sounds like maybe he sounds more like a porno name to me. Dakota Hudson.
I love that name.
All right. Speaking of porno, Justin Verlander. Well, he sort of had
the Million Man March.
Yeah, what was that? The fappening? Is that what?
During the fappening.
Unfortunately, he was. Justin Verlander won 2 American League Cy Young Awards and 2 World Series with the Houston Astros. Threw his 3rd career no-hitter with the Houston Astros.
Right.
Is returning to that ball club less than a year after he left. He was traded from the Metropolitans over to the Astros. Oh, and some massive prospects are being sent out to New York. But here we go again. Verlander hooking up with that Houston club to see if they can go to the World Series for the 6th time in the last 9 years or something like that?
On the heels of the fantastic no-hitter last night by Framber Valdez, who throws a no-hitter against Cleveland on 93 pitches, which that's pretty unheard of in this day and age of Major League Baseball.
Well, it's pretty unheard of in this day and age where there's a lot of people swinging and missing and strikeouts. To get through a 9-inning game with 93 pitches, that means you're not probably striking a lot of guys out.
Have you not seen the Twins play?
Well, yeah. Yeah. But, you know what I mean? You're getting guys out. You're averaging 10 pitches an inning, which... you're not striking a lot of people out when you're only throwing 10 pitches a inning.
So I saw this on Twitter last night. This is the 16th no-hitter in Astros history, which is second only to one other team. Any guess, Nick?
Oh, boy, the loss.
I'll take a guess if he doesn't have.
The 16th no-hitter for the Astros. There's only one other team in the history of the game that's thrown more no-hitters. I'm going to go with, you would think it'd be a team that's been around forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to go with the Oakland Athletics.
Nope.
Talk to me.
The first thing that came to mind, and now I'm rethinking it a little bit, is the Angels, only because Nolan Ryan might have thrown a few with them.
Well, Nolan Ryan's part of it, but it was the Texas Rangers.
Oh, okay.
26 no-hitters.
I'll be damned.
In Texas Ranger history, which is amazing, right?
Give me some of the names. You have some of the names in there?
I don't. The Twitter story did not have names.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I don't have them in front
It's
of me.
still
Nolan
interesting.
Ryan's got a few of them, though. Like,
Well, of course.
Nolan Ryan's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, other than Nolan Ryan.
Burt Blyleven.
I'm sorry, start over again?
Jim Bibby, Burt
Jim
Blyleven,
Bibby,
Nolan Ryan, Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. Yeah.
Just those 4 guys?
That's all that they have listed on the Wikipedia, yeah.
Oh, there's more than that.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't...
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying those are the 4 I have in front of me.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that Burt threw one.
For Texas.
Yeah.
I think I had heard that before, but I'm not positive. So you're right. On the same day that the Astros make the Justin Verlander deal, Framber Valdez throws a no-hitter against the team that's chasing the Twins in this thrilling American League Central race,
Dana, that
the Cleveland Guardians.
That Kenny Rogers, was that before or after he sang with Dolly?
And were his
Right
roaster
after
restaurants
Islands in the
open?
Stream.
Now, you mentioned the 93 pitches that Valdez threw. He faced a minimum 27 batters. One walk, was that the only blemish?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. 93
That's
pitches.
crazy, right? Whew.
That's the 4th fewest pitches needed for a no-hitter since the year 1901.
Oh, my gosh.
You mentioned the 16th no-hitter in Astros history, the first solo no-hitter since Verlander threw one 3-4 years ago.
That's correct.
They had a combined no-hitter last year. What was it? Houston had 2 no-hitters last season, one in the World Series. Right. I knew it was a playoff game. I had forgotten that it was directly in the World Series. The Cleveland Guardians have been no-hit 15 times in their franchise history. 5 have happened in the last 3 baseball seasons.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh.
That's hilarious. Holy balls. 5 times in the last 3 seasons.
What is the least number of pitches used in a solo no-hitter?
Good question. Damn. Good question.
Because if 93 is the 4th lowest number, I'd be curious. It's got to be in the...
It's got to be something
Maybe
from
high
the
70s.
something from the 1800s or something. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
So damn, Houston is still what? A couple 3 games back at Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their division?
Yeah, they are. No, they're only a game. They're only a half game back.
A half game.
They're
Okay.
only a half game back of the Rangers, but they are, they're also competing with Tampa for the wild card in the American League. So they're very much in the thick of everything.
So if anyone can find that information, the least amount of pitches thrown in a solo no-hitter where it wasn't a combined situation.
Also, multiple sites have that the Rangers have only had 5 no-hitters. The 26 is by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, that would...
Well, that would make sense.
That is not what this
Twitter
says.
lied to you.
Yep, Twitter lied. That.
20. The Los Angeles Dodgers have thrown 26 no-hitters in their franchise history?
Yep.
And probably going back to the Brooklyn Dodgers, they probably
Well, of
had
course.
that
They include every franchise.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would.
there you go.
It's part of the reason why I guessed the Oakland Athletics, because they were the Philadelphia Athletics since 1725 or something. You know what I mean? I figured I'd just play the numbers, but...
The first one in franchise history is thrown by Sam Kimber against the Toledo Blue Stockings in 1884.
Yeah.
I think we all remember where we were for that game.
Oh, yeah. Randy does anyway.
Hey.
I friggin' knew that was coming. I didn't want to be the guy.
I know, thanks.
So Verlander gets thrown in with the Astros. They're going to be difficult.
Yep.
Speaking of pitching, here we go. I love it when we get a chance to talk about Dick Mountain. The Padres and Pirates agreed to a deal that will send Rich Hill, but as most of us like to call him, Dick Mountain, from Pittsburgh to San Diego. This will be the 13th team he has played for in 19 years in the big leagues.
Wow.
Of course, Dick Mountain had a cup of coffee here with the Twins. Janelle, did you get a chance to interview Dick Mountain when he was here playing baseball?
I did not.
No?
No.
He's friggin' 43 years old now. And this is a team that, tell me I'm not terribly dialed in. Are the Padres a team that will likely make the playoffs?
They're in the mix.
They're in the mix, but they are struggling. They're 2 games under 500.
They're 2 games under 5. I never would have guessed that.
I would say at this point they're probably not much in the mix.
I'm going to get back to Dick Mountain here in just a minute. Bored HR Jesus has texted, and he says, Daryl Kyle. Didn't he die young?
He did.
Daryl Kyle in 1993 threw a no-hitter. I want to guess it was Philadelphia, but I could be wrong. 83 pitches.
Wow.
I have the Mets.
The Mets?
The Mets.
Okay. Thank you, Wapple.
But I also read, too, they only started keeping count of pitch counts in 1988.
Ah, sure.
So
there you go. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
They didn't. Pitch counts weren't a thing forever, and the game was better without pitch counts.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Daryl Kyle, how did he die so young?
I think it was
plane crash.
Well, I think it was a plane crash, wasn't it?
God damn, that's what comes to mind for me.
Was that the one? It was a Kyle that did. Let's see.
Looks like it was a heart attack.
Oh no!
Because some type of
oh no!
Like health or supplements. Muscle gaining supplements he was on. I think that now been banned.
Son of a bitch. Back to Dick Mountain. 13th team now he's playing on, the Padres. In 19 years. The 6th different team he's pitched for in the last 3 years. He's tied for second all-time with Octavio Dotel as the player who has featured for the most teams in league history. There's only one other guy who's played for more teams in big league history. And he's recent. Edwin Jackson.
Oh, sure.
Relief pitcher, right?
Well, he was a starter.
Okay.
Relief pitcher. He's pitched for everybody.
He's pitched for 14 teams. But old Dick Mountain is 43 and still throwing that big friggin' rainmaker curveball.
And actually, I think he's been fairly effective. At least he was for the Pirates.
Yeah.
When he was there, I mean, I'm serious. I think I don't have his stats right in front of me. I'm trying to look up what the Pirates. But I want to say that his pitching was pretty good. Yeah, here he is. 22 starts.
That's pretty good right there. 22 starts for a 43-year-old.
7-10 is the record.
Yeah.
His ERA is 4.76, so it's a little higher.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's a bad baseball club he's playing for.
How about this? 104 strikeouts in 119 innings. That's pretty damn good for a 43-year-old guy.
And I think he was part of my favorite highlight of this year's baseball season when he had a foot race to first base against Miguel Cabrera. The two of them combined are 87 years old or something like that. And they had a foot. That was hilarious. The announcers were, oh, here we go. And
you're left-handed, you can throw the ball across the plate. There's a roster spot for you somewhere.
There's no doubt about it, Brad Ryder. So good luck to Dick. I hope he has success there in San Diego. My favorite moment from Big League Baseball last night, Pete Alonso got hit in the face while trying to catch a pop-up. The baseball landed on his face.
The 3-1 popped up into foul territory, chasing it is Pete, and it hits him in the face. Oh, got him in the chin.
Yeah,
God, he's a big, strong guy.
Yeah. He was sliding to make a catch in foul ground of a pop-up, hit him right in the beak.
I'm a big guy. I'm a big, strong guy.
Yeah, we know.
Right. Pull the Canseco.
Oh, here's an interesting text from a listener. We were talking about Bert Blyleven throwing a no-hitter for the Texas Rangers back in the day. This listener says, my dad was roommates with Bert Blyleven when they were in the minor leagues. That's TV installing Jesus. Oh, did your dad tell stories of the farts? Get back to me. Does he talk about Bert's gas? Because Bert is notorious for his gas.
That and the hot foots.
Dick Bramer brings up Bert Blyleven's stomach issues once in a while. They worked together for years. And the hot foot. You're right, Randy. You guys, everyone know what that is?
No.
Yep.
Where you, this was a trick they used to play in the dugout. We don't need to be a baseball player to pull this trick, but I don't know, what did they put some garbage in the back of your cleat, or sometimes they'd use your shoelaces?
They put a little paper and shoelaces and tie it to there, and then they crawl under the bench without the other guy seeing them and light the paper on fire.
You're bored as hell. You're sitting in the dugout watching a baseball game. They light your shoe on fire for you.
Right.
That's so dorky. I love it.
Like I've told you before, when we were high school kids, when we had the tattered jeans, we'd go to Medina Entertainment Center and play pool on Friday nights. Back in 10th grade, that was a big thing for us to drink hooch in the parking lot and then come into Medina and shoot pool. And when a guy was focusing on the game, we'd often light their tattered jeans on fire and see how long it took for him to notice. The Rascott brothers were wondering why we were running out the place with our. They run the joint over there. Good people.
They are good people.
There was a possible manscaping injury in Major League Baseball.
Oh no!
This Domingo Germán was pitching for the Yankees.
Is Janelle asleep?
She's taking notes on how to give a hot foot.
Or did she wake up when you brought up this subject?
She's
the manscaping.
What's the word?
Hello.
She's going to start giving hot foots over at KARE 11.
Exactly. Taking notes about how to light people on fire.
You got an expert right next to you, in Ashley.
Really?
A lot of times,
stuff on fire.
A lot of times when Janelle's in studio, she's just dialed into what I'm doing and what I'm saying, Randy Shaver.
So Janelle, long before your time, but when Paul Majors was the news anchor at KARE, and early in his career, he would initiate new people in the newsroom by throwing the flaming ball of death. And that I'm not making this up. He would take scripts that we weren't using, and he would wad them up into a ball, and he'd light it on fire and throw it across the newsroom.
No way.
I'm serious, and that was your welcome to the KARE newsroom. The flaming ball of death. He and I were just laughing about this last week, and he goes, "Can you imagine if I tried to do that today?"
Oh God.
But I mean, that was just kind of
Yeah.
I mean, nobody got hurt. It was the thing would flame out before it ever hit, landed, but. It's pretty funny.
Josh, you were referencing that Ashley might know something or another about setting people on fire?
With their anger issues. I can see her doing something.
Yeah, she runs a little hot. We used to have raucous activities around here in the building when there were still other live human beings working here, Josh. My favorite was when you and I were cruising around on that cooler mobile.
Yeah, we burned that thing out. Literally.
The cooler on wheels with a motor? Anyone ever partied with a cooler on wheels with a motor? Beer cooler?
No.
It had a trailer
awesome.
even. We could do a few of them, line them up in a row like a train.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Way before that Tokyo Drift movie came out, we were tearing the carpeting just smooth up around here with those cooler mobiles. That was fun. So this Domingo Germán was pitching, or he was scheduled to pitch for the Yankees the other night. But they scratched him at the very last minute and called some kid up from the minors. And the announcers, or the Yankees, told the announcers the reason why he wasn't starting was because of armpit soreness.
That ain't good.
But then here comes Germán into the game later on,
right,
as a bullpen.
Like 3 or 4 innings.
After a few minutes, as a bullpen member, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yep.
And the analyst for the Yankees, Jeff Nelson, guessed that maybe he shaved wrong.
I couldn't start because of the pain in his right armpit, but here he is. Domingo Germán is warming up here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Maybe he shaved wrong. I don't know what happened.
Very odd.
Do pitchers commonly shave their armpits? Anybody know in the big leagues?
I didn't know that.
No.
I'm not sure what advantage that would give you.
Yeah.
And if so, do they go all the way down? They don't manscape? They just go bare? Or maybe that's what they meant, like he just went too far.
That could be. I'm not sure. The article here goes on to ask the question, do pitchers shave their armpits? They're well aware that many athletes shave their arms for tape, when they tape up their wrists and tape up the elbow. But is there an advantage to a pitcher having less friction in their armpit? Maybe next time we could ask, maybe Dick Bramer might know this, or do we know any pitchers we could ask? Well, yeah, we don't know.
We've talked to him.
We don't know any big league pitchers, do we?
Not anymore.
Randy, you probably know some. Brad Ryder.
Oh yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, Jeff Nelson, is that submarine pitcher that the Yankees had towards the end of his career? He also played in Seattle. Is that the same Jeff Nelson?
He kind of threw from the side a little bit.
Yeah, side.
Big, tall guy.
Yeah, same guy.
Yep.
I was recently told, I volunteer at the Wayzata American Legion. I volunteer as a member of the SAL, the Sons of the American Legion. I volunteer in the kitchen once in a while. I'll be the guy broasting chicken over there next Friday. Or wait a minute, what's the date today?
Today's the 2nd.
Yeah, so next Friday, I'll be broasting chicken in the kitchen with the rest of the SAL members. There's a new boss over there, and he told me, not in a mean way, I understand, he told me I can no longer wear sleeveless shirts when I'm broasting the chicken. Don't want speed stick chunks falling into the
health code issue.
Yeah.
What about open sandals?
That's
I don't mess around with that.
You don't. So you actually wear shoes?
Oh yeah. My first day.
Never seen you in shoes.
I know it's tough for me, and my feet hurt like hell when it's over. I wear shoes and socks when I'm back there because the first night I ever broasted chicken years ago. The SAL commander at the time asked me if I'd volunteer, and I said, yeah. And I said, what am I going to be doing? And they said, well, for your first time back here, we'll just have you as a runner. You know, you can do this. Well, you go fetch some rolls or go fetch some potatoes or take the garbage out. I said, okay, fine. And I showed up in my flip-flops because I only wear flip-flops anytime the temperature is above, 35 degrees. I showed up in my flip-flops, and they threw me on the broaster, and I splashed some of that friggin' oil on it. You want to talk about a hot foot, Randy Shaver?
Wow.
I bet that could do some damage.
Oh, it hurt like a bastard. The skin came off. And but, yeah, so I don't know. Where the hell does a guy buy sleeved shirts these days?
Pretty much any place that sells clothes.
Well, good for you to do that.
Oh, we have a blast back there, Randy.
Very nice of you to do that.
I'm on the board. So,
look at you.
If you want anything done or accomplished over at the Post 118, we have a blast back there. It's a fun time, and it's really good, actually. It's good stuff.
Good.
But being a guy who 99% of the time wears a sleeveless shirt, I do manscape my armpits.
Sure.
I think all of us do, don't we?
Oh, we do?
I can
Janel
understand
doesn't.
if you're wearing a sleeveless shirt why you would. Of course.
Yeah. Oh, I thought there would be some resistance there. But
no, not at all.
Randy Shaver, you manscape your armpits?
I have in the past. Sure.
Cubby?
Oh, yeah, I manscape everywhere, baby.
Oh, I know you do. You've given us great detail in the past.
Yeah.
I thought I would be alone. And the reason I
don't go all the way down. Just keep it tidy.
Well, yeah, with the trimmers, whatever you call that thing,
clippers.
The Manscaper 3000. Brad, you understand why? Like you just said, I know that a big furry armpit isn't the most attractive thing in the whole world, and I go everywhere in sleeveless shirts, so I try to dummy it down when I can.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. Thank you to a listener for texting in this article, and the reason why I was kind of unprepared to start the break is I was printing this off, and it was about 400 pages long. I didn't have a chance to edit it properly. Sorry, Josh. I had Josh sitting there. This printer is overheated now because I printed off.
That is the longest article I've ever seen.
If you're ready for this kind of thing, if we're close enough to football season for this kind of thing, a website called Sports Scroll put together their Hall of Shame, and what they mean by that is every NFL team's worst player ever.
Wow.
You won't have to think too much. Because it mirrors a lot of other articles you've seen talking about the worst draft bust ever.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell and guys like that, Tony Mandrich that you saw. There's nothing wildly original about the article, but go ahead. And
Vikings drafted the receiver from South Carolina, and I can't think of his name.
Go ahead, Brad.
Overall.
Troy Williamson?
Troy Williamson.
Troy Williamson. I was going to say him or Demetrius Underwood. One of those two.
Troy Williamson was the answer to every NFL for the Vikings. Right. Their worst player ever.
Right.
That's cold.
Yep.
Demetrius Underwood, he was also a high draft pick, and he had some problems. But I'll throw some other. It really unbelievable. For the Chicago Bears, they went with Mike Glennon, which I thought is greatly disrespectful.
Is he on the list for more than one team?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Just for the Bears. Mike Glennon. They had pictures of him up on the website. He is an interesting-looking guy.
Yeah, he is.
Cincinnati Bengals, Achilles Smith. You see what I mean? It pretty much mirrors draft bust. Cleveland Browns, Johnny Manziel. Dallas Cowboys, Mike Vanderjagt. What are you picking on a kicker for? He's one of the greatest kickers of all time.
Huh.
Everybody ganged up on Mike Vanderjagt just because that douche Peyton Manning called him an idiot kicker. And I really don't think that Peyton Manning's a douche. I'm just angry. So. Who else would you recognize in here? Brock Osweiler was named the worst player in the history of the Houston Texans. That he was a strange story, wasn't he? Well, maybe it's nothing wildly original. You've seen this a million times. But when he was with, wasn't it with Denver that he was quite impressive, right?
Right.
And everyone thought, my God, this big, tall guy, he can throw the ball 100 yards. Then he goes to Houston and just nothing happened. It just fell flat, didn't it? Am I remembering all that in sequence?
No, I think
I
so.
think you're right.
How about, can I guess the Packers?
Yes.
Well,
Tony Mandrich.
You're right.
Yeah. Yep.
Indianapolis Colts, they went with Carson Wentz. That was a mean move there, I thought.
He wasn't that bad.
Hey, and plus the guy was broken down by then, I don't think he was that bad either.
I think they just picked names that people would recognize that maybe underperformed.
Yeah, Brad Ryder, you never know what you're going to get. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're picking on foot-long foals like he cares. Kansas City Chiefs, Todd Blackledge.
Yeah.
Who was
Great announcer.
terrific quarterback at West Virginia.
Yep.
They drafted him. It went nowheres. Williamson. New Orleans Saints, Heath Schuler.
Sure, the quarterback, Tennessee.
And for the New York Jets have been around forever. But they're picking on the MILF man.
What? You can't do that.
Oh.
They're calling Zach Wilson the worst player ever for the New York Jets.
Oh, leave him alone.
Give me a break. I think that's just Seattle Seahawks, Brian Bosworth. I don't think that's fair either. That's not fair.
Was he bad?
He was decent for a while.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
Brian Bosworth was incredible. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Is he the one that they do the hair restoration billboards in Chicago with him?
I don't know.
Is he bald?
No, you're thinking of Brian Urlacher.
Oh, I'm
I was going to say,
Urlacher.
Bosworth,
Yeah.
he always had kind of cool hair.
Yes.
Never mind.
And he had the pit viper glasses.
Sure,
and everything.
yeah.
Bosworth was a pimp.
Yeah, he was.
He's still a pimp. He does great Dr. Pepper commercials now. Remember when he collided with Time stood still when he collided with Bo Jackson on Monday Night Football in 1987 or whatever it was. Time freaking stood still.
Can I guess the Lions?
I threw the Lions away because it was unrecognizable, but if you guess it correctly...
The 2008 team in general.
I see. The Lions, I think they named someone from the 50s or something,
They went 0 for 16.
I also highly recommend the Brian Bosworth film Stone Cold. It's a pretty good movie about an undercover cop who goes and infiltrates a biker gang, and it's not bad.
The ESPN 30 for 30 on Bosworth was really good, too.
Yeah, it was. A buddy of mine's a big Bosworth fan, so a family member, somebody got him a cameo video. One of those things where a celebrity will send you a video saying hi. He said it was like 16 minutes long. It was just getting awkward at times. He's just like, okay, he's just rambling at this point. I'm completely lost what he's trying to say.
Bosworth was going on and on and on. I hear
He was
you.
excited somebody bought one.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to get one from the Boz.
Yeah.
Oh, I misspoke. Todd Blackledge went to Penn State. I don't know. Who am I thinking of from West Virginia?
I don't know.
I'll come up with it. Oh, Josh is on the spot. The worst player ever, according to this article from Sports Scroll, the worst player ever from the Detroit Lions, Jordan Dizon?
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Okay, sure.
They also put honorable mention Joey Harrington.
Oh,
Shaver
no.
loves Joey Harrington.
Gosh.
Come on.
Nick's favorite player.
I like Joey. I'm going to kill somebody, Joey. I swear it on our mother's grave, I'm going to kill somebody. I did Raging Bull already today, didn't I?
Yeah, he did.
All right, I won't get back into it. Kill Salvi, kill Vicky, kill Tommy Como, kill me while you're at it. Raging Bull. Kind of like these worst ever rankings, it can be skewered, one way or the other pretty easily. So are the best, ever, or best of this year, ESPN, or who is it? Is it ESPN who does their NFL Top 100?
I think that's NFL.com.
NFL.com. Okay, so does this matter at all to you? Kirk Cousins is ranked higher as far as best players in the NFL today. He's not just quarterbacks. He's ranked higher than the gas bag and Lamar Jackson, if that matters at all to you. Does it matter at all to you?
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that he's ranked higher than Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson just can't stay healthy.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too.
Okay.
You can rely on Cousins, and you can't really rely on Jackson.
As far as quarterbacks go, here are the quarterbacks that Kirk Cousins is ranked higher than. Cousins came in at he's the 42nd best player in the NFL. Well, I find that hard to believe. But I'm going to go along.
About accurate.
I'll go along. I don't really. He's ranked higher than, as I mentioned, the gas bag, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, Tua, Justin Fields, and Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I think he's at least in those categories. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Who cares? Janelle doesn't care.
Janelle's just bored.
She wants to hear more quotes from Raging Bull. Ooh, this could thrill one or two of you. For the first time ever, the Super Bowl is going to do a broadcast on Nickelodeon.
That'll be interesting.
I love when they do those.
Really excited.
Mm-hmm. They do a great job.
I like that Nickelodeon broadcast, too.
It's funny.
It is funny.
It'll bring in more money for the NFL.
It's funny. It'll bring in more money.
Mm-hmm.
Because the NFL needs more money.
Yep.
Oh, they do, don't they?
They definitely are hurting. If Nate Burleson's a part of it, it'll be great.
He will be.
He's a part of it for sure.
Yep.
He's awesome.
Nate, what's his name again?
Nate Burleson.
Burleson, yeah, he's terrific. What else is going on around here? A1 from day one.
I'd be A5 from day 5.
What?
He's now A5 from day 5.
I'd be A5 from day 5.
Anthony Edwards and Kyle Anderson are going to go ahead and switch jersey numbers. Edwards has worn number 1 on his jersey since being drafted first overall. What year was that? 2020?
Sounds right.
Sounds about right.
Going to number 5. That was always his high school number, his college number, his AAU number. He couldn't have it when the Wolves drafted him because Malik Beasley had number 5. Kyle Anderson has been wearing number 5. He prefers number, so they're going to switch numbers. That's cute.
A buddy of mine dug in his closet and found a Doug West jersey and taped over the back of it and wrote his name on it, Edwards' name, because Doug West wore number 5 too.
Dude.
Doug West was awesome.
Time out. You know somebody who has a Doug West Timberwolves jersey?
Yeah.
Will you ask them how much broasted chicken I can give them from the American Legion in trade for that? I would love to have a Doug West. I like Brad. Doug West was terrific.
Oh yeah, great.
Doug West,
player.
nickname Nick. What was it?
I have no idea.
Quiz. You don't remember? Fresh.
No. Fresh.
Nice.
Yep.
I never heard that once in my life.
Yep, it was Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
Dude, that makes him even more cool. Really, Dana, ask your buddy what he wants in trade for a Doug West jersey.
I will ask him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I just looked. There's not even any on eBay right now.
Yeah, one just sold for $140.
Dude.
Doug West, Tony Campbell, Randy Brewer. Brings back great memories of those early
Richardson.
I love that stuff.
Scott Roth.
I can tell you all their jersey numbers, too.
Todd Murphy.
Todd Murphy was
4.
Scott Roth was 3. Todd Murphy was 4.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, good call. Randy
Pooh
Brewer,
Richardson,
45.
24.
Pooh, 24. Doug West had a slam dunk. Doug West teabagged a dude in Phoenix on live television. Doug West got up so high for a dunk in Phoenix. I remember this like it was yesterday. He unintentionally teabagged some guy standing under the basket. It was disgusting, but also very exciting. Sorry, Janelle.
It's all right.
You guys remember that dunk? The teabag dunk against the Suns?
That's funny.
Oh, my God. He could just rise up and... Couldn't he, Brad? Right?
Yeah, he could.
He would dunk so hard, you'd think he broke his arm.
That was in the day before not everybody in the NBA could do that.
Oh, yeah.
Now everybody can, but back then not everybody could do that.
Oh, yeah. I also heard he could blow through some Heinekens if you asked him to. Some stories I heard back in the day. Thank you for bringing up Doug West.
Yeah, of course.
There you go. What else is going on? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right, Janelle, now I'm kind of concerned about you.
Okay.
What's going on over there?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about what you want to talk about. All we've talked about so far is what I want to talk about.
Right.
What do you want to
Let's
talk
talk
about?
about Raging Bull.
Oh. Do you know the scene where Jake LaMotta is threatening to kill somebody? And his brother Joey's trying to talk him out of it?
No, but would you like to tell me more about it?
Maybe we ought to take a commercial break first. Randy and Brad, thanks a lot.
All right.
Appreciate it. And we'll have more with Janel Klein when we come back on the program.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
You want to buy a car or a house, travel, retire? But it's getting harder to figure out what's the best way to spend and invest. Afford Anything is a podcast that teaches you how to be smart with your money.
Take the amount of money that you would make on that car payment, make that payment to yourself. That way, if you have to make a major repair, it can come out of that. And when you do go to buy your next car, who knows, maybe all 5 years worth of car payments accumulated over that time. Afford Anything, wherever you listen.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, hell yeah. Our pal Janel Klein is all up in here as we check in at 8:29 here on the Half-Assed Morning Show. Faribault native, television reporter, influencer. How you been?
I've been good.
You ever watch television wrestling?
Not a whole lot.
We got a shot here for the brotherhood or sisterhood to go to the show next week real quick before we go any farther. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text SPANDEX, SPANDEX. Text SPANDEX to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win tickets to WWE Raw Monday at Target Center. That prize is furnished by Target Center.
Our text word guy, he's good.
That's cute.
He comes up with some funny stuff.
Spandex. Also, real cute, Under the Bleachers Jesus texted in, wishing everyone happy day one of the Pine County Fair.
Cool. Sneaks up on you every year.
310 barrels of beer or bust, he says. This guy's, he's been giving us a heads up on day one of the Pine County Fair, Cubby, hasn't he, for decades?
Almost as long as the fair's been going on.
And he always talks about how they're going to drain all the beer.
I bet it's a lot of fun.
I wonder who has the best county fair.
Jesus, I know a couple that used to be fun, and now it's a damn shame.
Really?
I've been to a few. Let's see, I've been to Hennepin, Dakota, and Anoka.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if Anoka County Fair quite a bit. I'd put that one up there.
It's a damn shame what has come of a couple of them. They just run out of money or run out of interest from vendors, and it just turns into a friggin' carousel and I mean, I've seen bigger beer tents, at children's birthday parties. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
as a Faribault native, is there a Rice County fair?
There is.
That is Rice County.
Yeah.
but some of them still let her buck, man, and good for them. Good for
I
them.
think the Rice County Fair is pretty good.
Is
I
it?
should go.
You should.
Yeah.
Janelle, you've been in the television business now for quite a poke, haven't you?
It's true.
Do a lot of folks come and go pretty frequently? I guess I'm specifically asking about the on-air side of things. Do you see a lot of personalities come and go? Wow, whatever happened to I thought they were going to work here and they're gone?
Yeah, I think more so now than maybe it used to be. But I remember my first job in Grand Forks, people, if they lasted a year, that was a long time.
Yeah.
It does seem like people bounce around between jobs now,
Yeah.
where it's common.
Yeah,
You know.
I think in every industry.
Okay. Any interesting firings that you've been able to witness where somebody said something or did something just mind-bogglingly stupid and you, what the, and they were gone skis?
I won't say where, but I once worked. I don't know what happened, but this is common, I think, in TV. I remember working somewhere where the anchors I thought were awesome. They were great. And we all came in one day and their desks were just empty and there was no explanation and no email went out. I mean, there's a lot of that where it's very weird, where they just quietly want people to go away.
Really?
Which I think is funny because it's like, well, in that job, you can't, don't you think people are going to notice?
Yeah, seriously.
Did you have some theories in mind?
I to this day, I don't know.
Maybe it was an illicit relationship.
Could be. I have no idea.
Maybe it was murder. I don't know. I don't.
Be a churn.
UPS Golden Valley Delivery Jesus says, I'm not sure, but maybe Dana could weigh in on that whole switching jobs topic.
Yeah, switch jobs. I've never been fired.
Oh, he's been fired. Listen, he sounds upset. He's been fired several times. We've seen some weird firings around
I
here.
was going to say, you guys for sure have.
Oh, my
yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Do you have any favorites, Josh? I have. There's a couple that came to mind, and I know I'll forget about a few of them.
Well, yeah, there's a couple that come to mind for me. One is just you do everything you can to try and tell a person, please don't get yourself fired, right? And where everybody's telling, this guy shot himself in the foot, and he wanted to play this one particular song every shift, and the boss was like, hey, you can't do it. It was like a cartoon song, right? He's like, well, that's my thing. That's my brand, you know?
Oh, God.
And they're like, well, you can't play it. It's not appropriate, right? And he kept doing it, and eventually they said, all right, you're gone.
What an
I mean, I
idiot.
don't know how many warnings this person could have received.
That was the first guy that came to mind. I don't remember it being specifically about a certain song, but
I'm sure there was more, but it was, I know that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
yes, more generally speaking, this guy, Josh, I'm sure you would agree, he was on air for, I don't know, a handful of months, and this is common in radio. Suddenly you think you are this untouchable rock star character that society couldn't live without. And the guy was just defiant at every turn. Look, we've had a couple bosses around here that were kind of pricks, but for the most part, they give you quite a bit of leeway for your personality. For God's sake, it's a radio show. Of course, they have to. This guy was defiant at every turn. And I remember him saying, hey, look, to the boss, it's my show. I'm going to do what I want to do. And the boss had to say, well, do you understand that we gave you that show. It was we have the right to decide whether it is yours or not your show. But he had this idea that he was the pimp in town.
Oh, yeah, he got cocky quick.
And it was so quick. It was so quick. And they canned him. It was just some of the dumbest behavior. What don't you understand here? Yeah. And he was gone.
Yeah, what a weird hill to die on,
yes.
Right?
Where is he now? Did he get another job?
No idea.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I bumped into him once or twice afterwards.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I kind of effed up. But still, there was an element still there that he feels like he got screwed somehow.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't have to tell you. There's people who just have a absolute ridiculous idea of what reality is.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember by chance what the song was that he insisted
Yeah,
upon
but
playing?
I don't want to say just...
I don't.
No. Okay.
I have no memory of the song whatsoever.
It was about a beverage, I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know.
Is that right? Now you're remembering what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was another guy, and I know I'm probably forgetting some great stories. There was another guy who, this is a long time ago, when 93.7 switched from an alternative station to a hard rock station, and we've remained active rock, hard rock, whatever you want to call it, since. I was ecstatic. I hated the alternative station. I hated the bands that we played. I hated the vibe that we gave off. I was so thrilled that we were flipping over to hard rock. And the day that it happened, there was a dude in the promotion staff. I was standing in the hallway when he got the news that we're flipping to hard rock. And he said, well, I can't support that kind of music. And he quit. And I thought, wow, I mean, that's kind of dramatic. And I was also kind of pissed because I wanted to say to the guy, if I could sit through 4 years of friggin' Alanis Morissette, dude, you can sit through, you know what I mean? I kind of took it as if, well, why did I?
Don't you guys think, I can think of also quite a few stories where somebody did something and I would think, I can't believe they didn't get fired.
Oh my gosh, there's been times
right?
where you're preaching to the choir.
I've said that out loud multiple times here. How are they still here?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you think like, hey, if I did 1/10 of that, I'd be gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some people that can...
They're survivors.
They can get away with that stuff. Yeah, that's how the world works, I guess. I mean, we've had the cops had to lead people out.
Oh, God.
And it gets weird. And I know part of this is just pandemic related where people aren't coming into the building. But we'll get an email saying so-and-so doesn't work here anymore. I'll ask you guys, who's so-and-so? And nobody had ever heard of so-and-so.
I have no idea.
They must have worked here for a handful of minutes.
Well, Jesus, how many times, Josh, have you said, hey, Sheila needs to see you about an ad? And I'll say, okay. Who the hell is Sheila? You know.
Well, she just quit, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, the other day I got a text message from one of the salespeople, like, "Hey, this is blah blah blah. What time are we supposed to meet there or whatever?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, who is this? I don't know who this is. I think you have the wrong number." And they're like, repeated like, "Oh, it's blank and blank from work." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't work with anybody that name." But we do. We definitely do. So I made a complete ass out of myself.
I like it when somebody quits or is fired and they always sign the email, we wish them well.
Yeah.
Wish them well.
Well, you know what's funny? Is you can tell how something went down by that email.
Totally, you can.
Yeah, if it's a sentence long,
Yes,
something happened.
Oh, yeah.
So true.
If it's so-and-so's been with us and
we'll miss them.
what an impact they made. And
We wish you best in the future if you don't see that.
Yeah.
Something's bad.
Sometimes it's just simply so-and-so has been, what's the kind word to put it?
No longer works
employed.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know it's real bad when they say if you see so-and-so, they are not allowed in the building.
Not let this person in.
And there's a couple of them where I thought, well, they shouldn't have been allowed in the building in the first place.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
On the topic, what I have here, folks online discussing the times an employee got hired and then immediately fired. They screwed up so badly right from the get-go that they were gone. Now, I'm trying to think of a direct example of that around here, where we certainly have some dramatic, tales of poor behavior and poor performance. But I'm trying to think of someone. Could you think of one?
Yeah,
John?
there is one, and this was in promotions. I had worked a promotion with a guy who disappeared in the middle of it was a concert, and he was gone. Like before, we were handing out stuff before a concert, and then we're gonna do the same afterwards. He just disappeared. He was gone, and it turns out the tickets we had to give away he sold. So he ended up somebody texted in, and I guess, or not back then it was called in. Somebody called in and complained about him or whatever. And I was like, where'd you go? And he's like, I was selling all these tickets. So yeah, that was a one and done. That was his first and last promotion.
How the hell could he?
We had an intern who didn't make it through the first day. He managed to delete the entire station website from existence
And he went to the we were trying to figure out what was going on, calling IT. He went to the bathroom and just never came back.
Dude, that's a good call. I probably would at that point too.
It's like there's no. I think in his head he was just like, "There's no coming back from this."
Yup. Or
which station was this?
K-Fan.
Oh man, yeah. So it's not like it was one of the ones you worked at that lasted a couple minutes. It's a big station.
Well, listeners are texting in, reminding me that sometimes employees around here at 93X they work for a few years, they quit, and then they pass away. That can happen.
Well, he didn't quit; he retired.
Yeah.
Retired, and then they pass away.
He retired.
Times employees were hired and then immediately fired. Let me throw some of this your way. Hired a lady. Her resume was spotty. Boy, I bet mine would look that way too. But anyway, on her first day, she came in 15 minutes late. Ashley.
Never on the first day.
Well, what number are we up to now since the year 2023 began?
19.
19.
I hope I just get disgustingly sick for weeks so you guys feel bad.
Well, we'd feel bad, but
we'd feel serious and awful. Wait, no, because some of the times that I haven't been here already, it's been serious and awful.
Well, of course we feel bad, but there's also the satisfaction of being right. For me, it doesn't happen often.
Lady came in 15 minutes late, got into an argument with a customer on her first day. And this was some kind of a joint where there's a live mic. She grabbed the mic, she farted into it.
No, never happened.
As loud as I've ever heard a human being fart. What do you mean it never happened?
Come on.
It does sound far-fetched, but don't take that away from me.
Yeah, let us have this one.
Day one, her grandmother died.
Oh, it's awful.
Understandable. Second day, her car broke down. So it's back-to-back her first 2 days. She couldn't show up. It's bad luck, I guess. Yeah. Chalk it up to bad luck. The third day, she had no electricity and couldn't blow-dry her hair.
Oh, okay.
So she was told not to come in at all.
Honestly, she's having a rough time. I think she should just try for the job later. Maybe give it a couple weeks.
Oh, that brings up some stories, too. A buddy of mine used to run a warehouse, and the employees would often call in and leave a message as to why they were going to be late and why they weren't going to be there. And some of the stuff was just legendary. I've told you the story about the guy with having problems with his elbow, but the other one that grabs me was a guy who said, "Hey, yeah, it's me," on the answering machine. I'm going to be late. Probably going to be about 3 hours late. My pants are in the dryer, so I'll see you in about 3 hours. Goodbye. Okay, number one, you only have one pair of pants?
Yes, okay.
And if so, even if they're soaking wet, why does it take 3 hours? What kind of a dryer do you have? Something from...
Maybe it was air drying. Little Village Jesus said they voted on a new kid at the fire department one time. It's a volunteer department. First job we showed him was rolling hose. He looked at us and said, "Nah, I'm good." And then he left and never came back.
I'm good. All right, one more of these and we'll take a break and come back to it. Times employees were hired and immediately fired. A guy at my work was caught playing World of Warcraft.
Fun.
For hours each day. Boss called him in and told him that was unacceptable and he had to stop immediately or he'd be fired. Less than an hour later, the guy was back in his office playing World of Warcraft. And he was let go that day.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Employees who got hired and immediately fired. That's what we've been jaw-jacking here on the program with Janel Klein from KARE 11 Television. Employees who got hired and immediately fired. Some pretty interesting stuff in here. And I'm still racking my brain. Great story you told earlier about the promotions staffer, Josh, who was selling concert tickets.
Day one.
On day one. Still racking my brain.
Well, you know what? He made more in that night than you would in a month or two of radio
God dang, yeah. Here's a few more examples from social media. Oh, by the way, a listener texted in, and this is very clever. Very clever. We were talking about when someone gets let go here from the radio station, there's usually an email that's sent out to the entire staff. So-and-so has been let go of his or her responsibilities here. Don't let them back in the this listener's idea is when radio stations fire someone, they should word the email to say, so-and-so has been promoted to the role of listener. That's
more respectable.
That is clever. Okay. I worked at a call center, says an individual. Guy got hired on his first day. He's vaping at his desk. He was told he'd have to go outside on break to do that. A little bit later, he did it again. He was told under no circumstances he was allowed to vape at his desk. He did it again and got fired. And we all know the entitled type who doesn't think that the rules should apply to them. I was working as a stable boy. Oh. It's interesting. Showing a new girl around the stables. As I introduced her to the horses, she was very apprehensive to come near them. She refused to even step into the stall. And remember, she signed on to help care for horses. Later that day, she admitted she was terrified of them, and the boss had to let her go.
Me. You know what? To be honest, they scare the heck out of me, so this was a bad idea.
Was that maybe, she didn't care much for the job? She was more in it to try and conquer her fear?
Maybe she thought, well, this is the only one I can get. Let's see if it can work. Nope, still scared.
Because if that's the case, maybe I'll take a job as a flight attendant.
Oh my gosh, you'd be awful.
What was that?
Dude, that would be.
If the flight attendant freaking out on the plane, everybody's going to freak out.
What the hell was that? That's not right. This doesn't feel right. What about the rest of you? Is this normal? Do you guys think this is normal? And I'm wearing the outfit, whatever. Spyro Jet Airlines or whatever they are. I don't know.
A couple of examples from listeners on people who were hired and then fired. This person worked at a car dealership. On his first day, the guy came in drunk, crashed a truck, and then was fired and arrested.
Oh, my God.
Oh. How was your first day, honey? Well, I got a story for you. Tree Master Jesus worked at a theme park with go-karts. A guy got hired, turned the governor off on one of the go-karts, took a 20-mile-per-hour ride around the track for 10 minutes, got out, ran to his car, and never came back.
Oh, my God.
That's like a fraternity dare or something there, isn't it?
It's got to be, right?
A lot of this kind of stuff when discussing employees who got hired and fired immediately, kind of like the vape pen guy. New guy goes into the bathroom, lights a big fat joint. And the boss's office is 10 feet away. Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing?
Did you not think it was going to smell?
The guy
is that just a, hey, I do what I want, or really that dumb?
I think it's an I do what I want thing, but...
Yeah, you can't be that dumb.
Never underestimate stupidity, but I think 9 times out of 10, that's an I do what I want move.
I do what I want.
How about this one?
Or the what's the verbiage again? The like a power move, like that gal who farted on me. Go ahead, Josh.
This text I'm going to read? Yeah. From a listener. Not fired, but a guy at my job as a teen called in because a spider bit his Johnson when he was pleasuring himself into a sock. So that when he came back, they decorated the break room with Spider-Man merchandise.
That's great.
Can that make you an amazing lover? If that happens.
That's awesome.
Vintage video game collector Jesus said they had a coworker call in because he got a sunburn.
Oh my God.
Years ago, from Hammer Swinging Jesus, years ago at a former company, we had a new guy start on a Monday. 15 minutes in, he jumped into the big boss's 2-week-old $70,000 truck, backed it into the $250,000 laser screen machine, caused about $80,000 in damages. He was gone by Wednesday after he moved a skid loader and dropped a $6,000 power trowel machine. That is a lot of money he cost that company in just a hand, or 3 days?
Yeah. I remember one of my buddies told me a story. He was working at an amusement park around town here, and he would test the rides before the park opened. And you weren't supposed to yell on the rides or do anything when you're testing it. So the first day, he was like, woo, and yelling and everything. And they're like, dude, you can't do that. Next day, did it again, fired. That's weird.
What the hell? Why can't you yell on the ride?
Because they don't want you to, like, scare people when you're testing it for mechanical issues.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the strangest one here in this online discussion of employees who got hired and fired immediately. Dude comes in. Where is this one? Here it is. The person who showed up to work was not the same person they interviewed.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. How does that work?
I gotta find out more about that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just bros being bros. Josh wants a job. He doesn't want to go to the interview. I go for him, and then I tell him, yeah, you're hired, and then you show. I mean, that's what I'm guessing is a couple of bros doing a favor for each other.
Or one of them's just really bad at job interviews, and the other one steps in.
I have a friend who, oh God, this is so funny. I forgot about this. Like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, was hiring for a job, and this woman showed up, and he was like, this is weird because the person was supposed to be right out of college, and this person sent their mom. And the mom was like, I'm going to do the interview for my kid because I know them really well. And if I'll know whether this is going to work out or not.
Oh, boy.
That's horrible.
Oh, boy.
I don't think I'd ever forgive my mother for something like that.
absolutely not.
If, in fact, she went without my... That sounds like a scene from Everybody Loves Raymond. You know what I mean? Where the
I
mother
could see
is...
my mom doing that. Definitely could see my mom doing that. How about this one? In the mid-'80s, this person applied to work at a fast food restaurant, and only to get the outfit for a Halloween party.
Oh, my God.
Worked there for 15 minutes, bailed out in the outfit. They called 8 times the next few days.
Oh, my God.
Never did get paid for their 15 minutes.
And they're thinking, I'll take any amount of punishment, but I am going to be a Burger King employee this Halloween.
That's funny.
People are smart.
My friend in college got a job. This is so funny too. At a factory, I think it was in Odana, and they made her buy steel-toed boots.
Yeah.
Which were, I don't know, a couple $100.
I bet.
And she lasted like 15 minutes and left.
No.
And so we always tell her she's the only person who ever lost money going to work.
Yeah. And she owns the cleanest steel-toed boots in the county. That's hilarious. But yeah, true story. Years ago, Janelle Gale pretty more or less farted on me
Wow, I missed that.
to establish her dominance in the building.
Oh.
Our listeners know that story well. Yes. It was one of the most shocking moments from my adulthood. Janelle, thanks very much
Thanks,
for coming
you
in and
guys.
putting up with all our disgusting stories.
I sure love you.
We love you too very much.
Yeah, hopefully you're going to be back next week.
I
or
sure will.
Any reason you want? Okay.
No,
great.
yeah.
Happy birthday to Wash My Butt Before My Face, Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.